New York to hopefully the first win of 2022 in Nashville on Sunday. It is a Scout Meeting Wednesday edition, and we also talk some Tennessee Volunteers with Brian Rice, Todd Kelly Jr., and much, much more, alongside our producer, Robert Walsh, making the show happen, 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. I'm Will Boling. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Will.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. You're lucky to have me this morning. I texted you that I woke up a little late. You're honestly lucky I'm wearing pants. I'm not wearing underwear right now. I jumped out of bed, threw this on.
We're really getting to know you.
I thought I was going to be late, man. So you guys are lucky to have me. You're lucky I'm in here, but I guess we're the luckiest I'm wearing pants.
How far away from here, is your commute?
It's like 22 minutes. So when I woke up at 5:03, knowing that there were some duties I had to do before the show, I was a little stressed. People on the highway were wondering why I was going so fast in the pitch dark.
Fair enough.
Just continue to get dressed in the pitch dark and always grab pants, Rob.
I need to have some underwear here at the station just in case this happens again.
I don't know if those are just in a drawer somewhere.
I feel like they
blew a pair of drawers are somewhere in a drawer.
They blew my clothes half off like a promo code, man. I got nothing over here.
I gotta get Rob some Tommy Johns for the studio, man.
That's right.
I would love that. I'd wear them on the outside of my shorts.
Oh my!
I got them. I promise you. I'm going to pick up some Tommy Johns today for you, man. Since you with us for the rest of the week. You will have a gift pack back there just because we appreciate you. Rob, you've been pretty good, man.
Pretty good. We're looking for pretty great today, though.
Not like that other guy that showed up late. Remember, Will was here.
Oh, God.
Will was here.
We did have a producer last year who I was doing the sports update. I feel like the statute of limitations is enough where we can laugh about this now.
Oh, yeah, now?
We can say his full name. Say his government name. I don't care.
No.
Andrew. It was Andrew.
Throw him to the fire.
Andrew was late.
And he admitted it, too.
It was fine.
Yeah.
But I was doing the sports updates that day. And I kid you not, I walk in here and I started the update.
Yeah.
And I noticed as I was doing it, I was like, the music isn't going down.
Yeah.
I was like, strike one. And then as I'm doing it, I'm looking up a little bit, glancing as a radio professional that I am. And I was like, well, I think it's okay. I think he's probably in there. He's just, grabbing coffee or something or in the bathroom. I was like, I'll take my time with the update. I'll talk kind of slowly.
My angle doesn't let me see the other side. I can see to the corner over there. So I'm like, Shafe is usually on the other side, on the computer, because there's a monitor over to your right, Rob?
Correct.
And
we've got more monitors in there than Mission Control and NASA. We could launch they're like nuclear codes somewhere on one of those.
I should
really
wear blue light glasses.
You guys would appreciate this. More monitors than the Patriots winning Super Bowls, okay?
Like this.
Spygate. Okay, we'll continue on, Will.
Anyway, and I was like, this is 104.5 The Zone. And I look up. I'm like, there's no one in there.
And that music was just still going.
It was still going.
Still as loud as it is when it starts.
I turned off the mic. Keith Bullock was in with us that morning. There was three of us, and I looked up and I said, boys, time to relearn how to produce a radio show. And I sprinted my way into that studio.
Well, it's crazy.
And about 15 seconds later, and one extra legal ID or something like that, we got it working.
Yeah. What's wild though is Bullock is not in a what do you want to call it, a 9-to-5 type of job right now. Bullock came in helping us out and did a great job. So I'll say this: I feel like his mindset was still like a locker room mindset in the way he reacted. He hadn't been in here with HR and everything else, right? Bullock was like, man, what? Where is he at? How?
Yeah, Bullock was not having it.
He was like,
Keith was not having it.
Fired. What? Soon as he get in here, I promise you, I was like, whoa, Bullock.
Yeah, easy. This is not the rookie that showed up late to practice, so you gotta put baby powder in their locker or something.
But his mindset was like that and I was with Bullock. I was like, you ride, I ride with you, dog. What we finna do to him?
Yeah,
Grab the buckets. That's all I was thinking.
Grab the buckets. Good Lord.
I need to stop joking about waterboarding.
Yeah, I feel like that is kind of an aggressive thing to joke about.
Well, that's because it's something that I'd never do. And it's just one of them
Why do you
situations.
joke about it?
Because, well, that's why I always tell people I'm a drug dealer. Because why ask me what I did? Rob get that. I was like, don't ask me
Robert is
stupid
in the studio right now fixing your camera.
Don't ask me stupid questions like that. What do you do? I sell drugs. Like, that's what I'm going to tell you most of the time. Or I'm a construction worker, or I do security detail. Like, or the best one that I use, Will, I'm a synchronized swimmer. It's like, don't ask me silly stuff like that. Like, so if you do something crazy,
swimmer.
You can throw
Who are you
OnlyFans
fooling?
model in there. I think
see,
that would work.
Who are you fooling that's going to think you're a synchronized swimmer?
older people.
Really?
Let me tell you something. Big boys can swim, though. You ever seen a whale? You ever seen how fast whales move?
Can I be real?
Did you just compare him to a whale?
Can I be real?
605
Tell me about
This big boy gonna sink because I don't. Okay.
Unbelievable.
That's what I'm telling you, man. I never learned it, but guess what? My kids know how to. I think I've told this story before, though, Rob. Like, this is the issue with me in swimming. I took lessons, I think, like my 3rd year in the league. I was in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, okay, at a YMCA.
Greensburg?
Yeah.
That's a place?
It's a lot of bergs,
I
okay.
was today years old when I learned that was a place on God's green
earth. Yeah, so I go there, and I'm at the Y, and I'm learning how to like swim in water, like, you know what I'm saying, like a seal or something, like Rob said, like a sea lion, okay? That's
like
what I'm
whale.
learning. I was on the shallow end doing that. By like my third set, no lie, all right? Like second session, like I was going to like the 15-foot, right? And I'm dropping down to the bottom of the pool. And I'm coming back up like, okay, all right. But mind you, the entire time, the wall is there, okay? My security blanket is there. The wall is there, okay? So I touch the floor at the bottom, come back up with a little whoosh to get me up top, right? Well, like with a little whoosh to get me up top, and I grab the wall, and I'm good. Okay, 3rd session. All right, Ramon, we're gonna move forward now. Okay, all right, let's go. What are we doing now? Staying close to the wall, right?
Yeah.
No. She takes me to the middle of the friggin' pool at 15 feet, dog.
Oh, my goodness.
And I think where
Thoughts
I
and
messed
prayers.
up at,
That whoosh don't feel the same out there.
no. Where I messed up at, though, she gave me the lifeguard red floaty thing, right? And I grab onto it, and I guess he was just trying to get me stabilized. And the worst thing you can do is roll back. And I rolled back, and I panicked. And it was over from there. I was just like, I'm about to die.
And thus was the beginning and the end of your professional swimming career.
I was so motivated. Man. I rolled back and I couldn't control it. And I was just like, that's probably a flaw of mine, trying to control
Said,
stuff.
Lord, take me.
Lord,
I'm ready.
There's a time.
We got to try it out in a 6-foot. I think you got it in a 6-foot.
That's what I'm saying.
Put him in the butterfly. My man will take it on.
She put me
Michael
in the
Phelps.
15.
Yeah. She set you up for failure,
Who
dog.
is she, by the way?
I couldn't tell you her name now. She was long
We already threw
forgotten.
Andrew under the bus. You might as well throw her under the bus, too.
Some older middle-aged lady, okay? And she was very, I ain't gonna say she was very good, because I'm like, if you know me, don't throw me out there. Like, let me, I thought I had 2 more steps before I went to the 15. Lo and behold, Rob, Will, listeners, it was a wrap.
Yeah, that was the beginning and the end of
wrap.
your professional swimming career.
And I might pick it back up again. Ain't no telling. I mean,
Interesting. You've got to get a better job to fool people of what they think you actually do than being a synchronized swimmer, though.
And you know what's crazy about it? Everybody to a T was like, what? You can't swim? You're an athlete? Mind your damn business,
I'm
okay?
not great at swimming.
Me being good on land doesn't equate to me being good in water.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Right. We
You're
had this
not a
one
great
thing.
swimmer?
Oh, terrible.
Yeah, right.
Oh, terrible.
You're white, Will.
Nah, look, he looked like
you.
he'd swim like a stick, man.
No, when I was in high school, whenever I would try to swim, I was not as buoyant as I am now.
Yeah.
And what we would do is every year at our preseason camp for cross country, we had this thing called a water run.
Okay.
Which is exactly what it sounds like. You basically tread water for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And we would do it in like a lake. And I know some of my cross country coaches from high school still listen to this show now. So I'm revealing a very sad truth about my tenure there. It would essentially be, let me find a rock that I can run in place on that is in the water, because I legitimately could not tread water.
Scamming the system.
Like I really am just like, I'm revealing to the world and anyone that knew me in high school that I'm just a complete fraud. Today, live on the radio waves of 104.5 The Zone, WGFX FM Cumulus, Gallatin, Nashville.
You cheated your way through swimming?
I didn't. Well, it wasn't swimming. It was water running.
Say it. Lie.
It wasn't swimming.
Lie.
I cheated my way through water running.
Okay, all right, cool. I live with that.
But they knew it. They were like, "You need a noodle." I was like, "Yeah, I kind of need a noodle."
Since we're all confessing,
So I would literally be like running with like a noodle in between my legs, just like running and running in place in the water. Yeah, it was not great.
I did that for combine training though. I did do that.
It's not fun. I don't recommend it.
Since we're
Treading water is a
confessing
scam.
lying about our athletic achievements.
Oh, good.
I went to
get it all
East
out.
Carolina University,
Okay.
which
Go Pirates.
is a massive party school. They've been trying to fight this image for a
Hard
long
flex.
time.
Hey, Robert, how's bragging camp going?
You know what, man? I can take down a keg. Speaking of the kegs, they used to have me do keg stands because they were like, man, this guy can keg stand for so long. Like, he's a bottomless pit. What's up with this dude? But I'm going to be honest with y'all because I know none of my friends are listening. I used to put my tongue over the tap, and I wasn't really drinking nothing, man. And
So
they'd
you
be
just all
like,
this beer is just getting wasted?
no, it's not going
It
anywhere.
didn't come out.
It's not. I'm putting
okay.
it over so it can't come out. So they're like, 19, 20. This guy's an animal. 21. He's going to go a whole minute. I'm like, oh, God, it was so cold.
You're like,
man.
the hardest part is just doing the handstand.
Yeah,
Like,
right. They're like, Robbie. They're like, this guy's a legend. I'm like,
You're
y'all
like,
don't even know, man.
you're like, I am a legend. You're right.
You're right. I fooled y'all. Y'all thought I was just big enough. They were like, this guy could really consume 60 seconds of beer.
What a fraud.
Oh, my goodness.
This guy's a phony.
This dude is a legend at ECU, and he's out here not even a legend. What is wrong with you, man?
So now instead of when Jonathan Schaefer will be back next week. Like, Jonathan Schaefer's cool. And Jonathan Schaefer, our drop for him we always play is the best producer in the world.
Yeah.
I think the drop for now we play for Robert Walsh is the legend making the show happen. The legend.
The one who knocks.
Yes, that's right. He is.
Say my name.
You are the danger. You are the one who not. Honestly, Ramon Foster, it is kind of nice that, and I don't get any funny ideas when I say this, Robert, that we can say whatever we want, and Jonathan Schaefer isn't going to go save it in a recording and then play it out of context to make us sound like we said something we didn't actually say.
Because Shafe would have saved that. I put my tongue over the nozzle part.
The amount of things that we get off our chest in the 6 a.m. hour on this show is a little bit scary.
No, Shafe.
Like,
Shafe.
Robert Walsh, the teacher's not here.
Yes.
Robert Walsh was like waking up like an hour ago, and here he is talking about keg stands on the radio.
And what's crazy is he felt compelled to be honest right
No,
now.
absolutely.
Well, we had a lot of honesty yesterday. And
All
I
right,
felt
so-
like this is a whole lot better than yesterday.
That really is. Look, we had therapy yesterday. We are in the stages of grief as a sports city. Yesterday was, I think we went through about 3 or 4 stages of grief.
Yeah.
Yesterday about the local professional football team. There was a little bit of sadness. There was some denial. There was some anger.
Yeah.
Today it's acceptance.
We're here now.
Today we scout the Las Vegas
Got on
Raiders.
the Vols shirt. They said it looked like your shirt is doing dancing moves because
I don't
of
know
the
what that
light.
means.
Well, it is kind of
Well,
reflecting.
it's like the pattern.
Yeah, the pattern has it like one of those like optical illusions going on right now.
Interesting.
Well,
I'm a hologram.
you're a holly. Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
You are.
It's okay.
Hey, if you don't get enough sleep, you will be.
I got to Well, at some point, maybe I have a review of the Bachelorette finale last night, which, again, the watch
No.
party I was at for the Bachelorette finale,
This
it
is
took a little
something-
bit of sleep away.
This is something that Shafe would probably tell you. No, Will, we're not talking about the Bachelorette today.
Oh, that's not what we're doing at 6:20?
No, that's not what we're doing
right,
at
perfect.
6:20. Not today. I kind of want to hear it because between you and Mike Golick Jr., I'm like, I feel
Listen,
like I got to start watching
The
it.
more you do in this business, the more trash television is appealing to me. Like, bring me all the trash television you have.
All
Like, if
the
I don't have
time.
to think very much, I'm sold.
Just watch you do
And
stupid
Lord have
stuff.
mercy, there are a lot of things you do watching The Bachelorette and thinking is not, you just kind of watch and you're just like, oh, okay, well, that girl's going off the island now.
One of my
So it's kind of savage. Like, sometimes they just like leave a dude on an island and then they're just like sailing away and it's just like a guy just like sitting there with his thoughts.
I miss when they would, on like I Love New York and or whatever, they would give everybody nicknames on those shows.
Flavor
Now
of
they're
Love.
like, they're calling everybody like their real names. But my girlfriend is also a Bachelorette fanatic. So I nicknamed this girl Dragon because of the wagon she was dragging.
Look at my man is
Not
a
the
Chiefs
direction.
fan.
Not the direction I thought that was
I
going.
love coming up with nicknames for those girls because none of them are like BB or New York or nothing. You know, you got to get creative with them.
Hoops.
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't hoops. We ain't got hoops no more.
More hoop.
That's
Because of
fantastic.
that wagon she was drinking.
Anyway,
That's something I
sports will be discussed today. Coming up today on the show.
I say that to my wife, like, babe, you see that wagon she drinking?
Fantastic. Coming up today on the show, we scout the Las Vegas Raiders. It is a scout meeting Wednesday. We hit the Tennessee Titans headlines when we come back, including a report from our Buck Rising about Taylor Lewan and his future with the team. Brian Rice at 7:20. Former Tennessee safety Todd Kelly Jr. checks in at 8:20 as we talk some Tennessee and Florida. And Rhett Bryan at 9:20. Maybe some more Bachelorette nicknames from Robert Walsh.
Mindless reality TV. Mine is 90 Day Fiance with Big Ed. Big
interesting.
Ed. Oh,
That boy ain't got no neck.
Him and Rose. Oh, Rose is a scammer, man. What
Anyway.
a bad breath.
You'll figure out more trash television that we like. 4 hours. Don't blink. You just might miss it. It's Ramon Will, powered by all 4 seasons of 104.5 The Zone.
It's football season, and Window Nation is your halftime show. And it's Ramon Foster, and score new windows from Window Nation for half the price. Get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy, plus pay nothing with no interest until 2025. You can lower your energy bills and raise the value of your home with new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. If you're not sure if you need new windows, well, here are some pro tips for you. If they are sticking or drafty or cracked, hard to open or locking when you close them, then you need new windows. It's that simple. Or do you know if your windows are leaky? Also, leaky windows can cause serious structural damage and allow for mold to grow in your home, often undetected. Choose a company with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. The company that has installed over 1 million windows and has over 1,500 custom vinyl window combinations available. That's Window Nation. Buy 2 windows and get 2 free windows on any style window from Window Nation. There is no limit. You make no payments, plus no down payment, and pay nothing with no interest until 2025. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. Again, that's 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Scout Meeting Wednesday edition of Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Will Boling, Ramon Foster with you, and the legend, Robert Walsh.
Yeah. You got to get used to that.
If you want to know why he's the legend, then check out the first segment on the podcast, whenever that drops, wherever you download podcasts today at 10 o'clock. We scout the Las Vegas Raiders with Rhett Bryan at 9:20, but we do so here in hour number one as well, as we take a look at a huge opponent in really what is a must-win game, Ramon Foster, this Sunday in Nissan Stadium. But before we do that, the news yesterday via our Buck Rising, Taylor Lewan lost for the season. According to him, saying those close to the situation believe Lewan is likely done for 2022. Mike Vrabel did not have any updates on his status yesterday, saying the team was still going through evaluations as to the extent of the injury. It is a right knee injury for Lewan, who previously tore his right ACL, of course, in October of 2020.
They knew everything about everybody else, but not him?
Well, no.
Okay.
They didn't give anything about anybody else yesterday.
I thought they said, Bud was going to be fine, and who else was injured?
That's pretty common for them day after a game day to say they're still evaluating.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
That one's fair.
Okay.
That's
all right,
fair.
for sure. Just one. I was just like, okay, why would you shut him down if we don't know what's okay? Never mind. Will, I won't be that guy. We'll wait to see what comes out of that. Very interesting. But that pool of pulling from extra offensive linemen is kind of shallow right now, though, Will. I can tell you anybody out in the street right now that I absolutely trust. That's just where I'm at as far as, guys on the street. I thought Daly was serviceable enough this past weekend.
Allowed 6 total quarterback pressures, 5 hurries, and 1 hit.
God dog it.
What? But no, I'm actually agreeing with you in saying that. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
against Von Miller, 6 quarterback pressures is, it's far from the worst performance on the field in the Titans uniform on Monday night.
We said we were moving on.
There's only so much moving on we can do.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good thing is the Raiders haven't been too exciting on defense either, Will. So, you ready? Are we there yet? We're going to take
Let's go to the phone lines first before we do that. Let's go to John in the Borough, checking in with us this morning. Hello, John.
Morning, John.
Morning, y'all. You guys owe me a card detailing service because I spit my drink all over my daggum console.
Good.
Which part was
Apologies,
it?
John.
The dragon part, me almost drowning, or Will being a fraud in the water too?
Will being a fraud and you almost drowning. And Ramon, I will teach you to swim, buddy. I swim like a fish. I'll make an even trade with you. You help my fat butt get in shape, and I will teach you to swim.
John, I promise you, I got you. Okay, you DM me and I got you back.
Deal. Sounds good. Real quick, we were talking about trash TV in the last segment. Do you guys remember when Bret Michaels had his Rock of Love TV show?
I met Bret Michaels too, by the way.
Hard flex.
So my fraternity house, I went to MTSU, and my fraternity was Sig F, and we have the largest fraternity house in terms of land in the entire country.
Oh, wow.
16.5 acres of land. ATO rents the house from us now because we shut down the chapter several years ago. Nothing bad happened. It was just numbers. They filmed the mud football game from the 3rd season in our backfield.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
The producer of the show was a teak, and he remembered that we had that backfield and called us because they were doing like a tour across the country or whatever.
Sure.
So they came out and they filmed that episode in the backfield. So you had a bunch of college kids watching a bunch of pretty women having a mud football game. But anyway, cool story aside. The key with the Raiders this week, it's got to be defense, because I think our entire offense has to just manage the game. I think just give the ball to Derek, let him run the rock as best you can behind a paper-thin offensive line, and just let the defense try to do their job against Derek Carr.
Yeah,
absolutely right. Thank you, John. That's interesting that you have a 16-acre fraternity house.
No, have you seen the frat row at UT now?
Oh yeah,
the sorority. I don't even know what you want to call it.
It's the sorority house is at UT now.
it's no longer frat row anymore, right? Well, those are only sorority houses.
Well, there's two different ones. You're talking about two different things.
Over coming off Loudon. No, the one going on coming off the interstate.
I'm really bad at street names. No, it's not. No, I know it. Yes,
on the outside part.
Yeah, that's
campus.
Lake Loudon.
Lake Loudon.
Yeah, that's sorority houses.
Dude,
they're like mansions.
it's like a fortress in there.
I know.
What the hell?
They were built like the year before I started Tennessee or something like that.
Dude, I rolled by there. I was like, these are mansions.
Well, it was like against Tennessee state law for them to have houses until like semi-recently.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they're all brand new.
Dude, they look like friggin' Governor's Club or something like that in Brentwood.
Oh, they're beautiful. Yeah.
They are beautiful.
Yeah, they're
really tripped me out.
They've got like the gates at the front where you got to have like a certain invitation to like go to like you get like if you're like in a fraternity, you have to have like an invite from these sororities to go like speak.
Yeah.
And like call on their chapter meetings and stuff like that.
So is it a privilege to stay in there or it's just like, oh, we got a house? Do you know?
No, it's like every sophomore has to like live in the sorority house.
Straight up.
That's the way it works. Yeah.
But Rush is like crazy. There's so many girls that join sororities.
Freshman year, you like live in the dorm or whatever, and then sophomore year, most of them require you to live in the house because the house is so big. Like that's how you like create like, okay, we have this many rooms, like this many like available spots to like take this many like people.
And they got to pay them.
Yeah, somebody exactly. Boom. There you go. They need somebody to pay that mortgage.
Well, yeah, right. No, like they're required to live in the house, but they still are also required to pay to live in the house.
What if you sign up for that and your parents are like, "Look, child, we not paying for this."
That's tough.
You say this?
That's tough. I mean, that's just you're not a
get out here and hustle.
A member.
Well, okay.
That's right.
It was just fascinating to me. I'm like, these are not just mini mansions; these are mansions.
Oh yeah, they're mansions.
Okay, all right. Sure. Okay, I wasn't wrong in my assessment then.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Well,
so the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, here we go.
Speaking of big houses.
I need to go there. I want to see that stadium. It looks beautiful.
It does look cool. I say we didn't. I went by myself. I didn't see it out there for the draft.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a little bit off the beaten path out there. And this will be the first time the Titans have played the Raiders as the Las Vegas Raiders. Because the last Titans-Raiders game was 2019 in Oakland. Ryan Tannehill, a season-high 391 yards in that game. Had a fantastic game late on in that season. That was really when the Titans started to kind of catch fire a little bit. Mm-hmm. Coming off the loss to Carolina and Christian McCaffrey and the frustrations of that game. That Oakland game was, you remember a big turning point.
Yeah.
In that season in 2019 for this team. But all that to say, first game against these Las Vegas Raiders for the Titans.
So here we go. Las Vegas Raiders, man. They're 0-2 again. We preface this by saying we will look like we're uplifting this group by saying what all they do. Mind you, this is just a preference for what the game entails on Sunday, okay? They're 0-2. Losses to the Chargers and a bad, ugly loss to the Cardinals this past weekend. One they lost by 5, and the other they lost by 6. So they're right there. Head coach is Josh McDaniels, his 2.5 head coaching job. I got 2.5 because he reneged on your beloved
That's
Indianapolis coach.
Sure did.
I think it's interesting to say Rhett Bryan is a part of their defensive coaching staff. Should say a lot about some of the things they do. It's the same thing we look at, same way we look at the defensive consultant that the Titans have. What's his name again? Defensive
on defense? Jim Schwartz.
Jim Schwartz. Just like Jim Schwartz for the Titans. You'll see sprinkles of Rhett Bryan, super aggressive type of guy, man. His dad, legend, brother, another football legend, and Rex Ryan. Shout out to him. But they ranked 13th in yards scored, 21 points per game. But defensively, they're giving up 26.5 points per game. I'll start offensively. It's led by Derek Carr. Should be noted also, Will, that his best seasons were under Todd Downing as far as accolades go, being his quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. So don't tell me Todd Downing can't coach. It's just a little shade.
Of course.
That's all it was.
Sure.
But that's true, though. 15 through 17, he was a Pro Bowler. Since Todd Downing left, he hasn't been a Pro Bowler, whether it was the system or whether it was Todd Downing being better at a quarterback coach than an OC. But on the season, 61.8% completions, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for 547 yards. Darren Waller, man, incredible talent. got paid before the season just started off. I think he's one of the top 3 tight ends in the league as far as talent goes. 10 receptions for 129 yards, 1 touchdown. Will force you to put more DBs on the field simply because he is a pass-catching threat. What linebacker do you trust on him right now, Will, as of right now?
Titans don't have one.
Don't have one.
That you trust against him.
Smaller sets, right?
Yeah.
Devontae Adams. He is that guy, but I'll say this, and it was even written up on LasVegasRaiders.com. What the Cardinals did last week, no Devontae. And very opportunistic situations, they doubled him. And they made Derek Carr go to everybody else but Devontae, i.e. what I said on Monday or Tuesday yesterday, double the stars. If you want to slow them down, keep the game close, not have him do what Stephon Diggs, double the stars. Put 2 on him in those type of situations, man. With that being said, 24 targets with 12 receptions. 453 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like I said, will attract a lot of attention this week. I'd assume if I'm them, I try to do what Buffalo did. Move him, motion him, put him in positions to where you try to put him up on young DBs. That's just coaching at its finest right there. You've been an idiot as an offensive coordinator to not try to do that to Devontae Adams this week. Hunter Renfrow, he's a football player. He's ice cold. I got to give it to him.
He's really good.
I put in my notes, he looked like he can be your uncle, but he will break your ankles off. Is that fair?
If you walk by him at the grocery store, you're not double taking him thinking that guy makes millions of dollars to catch footballs. You're thinking, even. Oh, who's this guy?
As soon as he put that helmet on, he turns into that guy.
Different.
Yeah.
Different.
Tough as ever, too, man. 16 targets, 10 receptions, 80 yards on the season. Not a lot going on. He's a number 2. Well, him and Waller probably split 2 reps, but don't sleep on him is what I have. Josh Jacobs, they did not pick up his option. Actually, also tried to trade him at some point this offseason. They have running back by committee right now. He's 29 rushes for 126 yards. Not a whole lot there from this Raider offense. Now, I'll be honest, I was one of the first ones to be like, man, this Raider offense is going to be good. Waller, Jacobs, Devontae, Derek Carr got a new bag. Really nothing. Nothing from them, man. Sure. They have no rushing touchdowns on the season so far, if that's right. That tells you their approach to what they want to do. They want to spin the ball through the air. It just hasn't been good for them. Brandon Bolden is their scat back. He has 1 touchdown on the year receiving. No other running back has the touchdowns for them. All in all, nothing overly special so far from their offense, but it can be dangerous. Again, I'm walking to this thing. I'm going to do everything that the last 2 teams did to them and try to bully them as much as I possibly can. Force them into looking at the same game plan over and over because they haven't done anything offensively, man. And I'll say this, their O-line is decent. They got rid of Leatherwood this past year. They ended up putting an undrafted 5th-year guy in his place. Nothing special, but they're not bad. Defensively, I'll be honest with you, Will, there's not a whole lot there.
Really?
It's not, man, and I'm not sure what you picked up from PFF and the analytics side of things because that could tell a different story. But just by watching, the names you need that you know and love aren't doing anything. Chandler Jones and Max Crosby, 1 sack on the year last together, and I think that 1 sack goes to Max Crosby. And 5 quarterback hits is what they had in the game against the Cardinals. They've missed a lot on the defensive side of the ball when it comes to their draft. Cleveland Farrell, people side-eye. Jonathan Abram, they didn't pick up his option. They also have, and I got to put this on there because it's Florida week, but Kendall Vickers is on the team. He's a VFL. So,
there you go.
Really nothing. Like, they're 0-2 for a reason. They're beatable. But they're in survival mode right now, too.
There is one position group for the Las Vegas Raiders who Pro Football Focus ranks as the 31st best position group in the NFL. And I think there is a big opportunity for the Titans to exploit one specific part on the field on Sunday the way that they did in week number 1. We'll tell you about that. We'll take more of your phone calls at 615-737-1045. It is a Scout Meeting Wednesday edition of Ramon Will, powered by All 4 Seasons on 1045 The Zone.
When it comes to large home repairs, a lot of the time we homeowners pretend we don't see the warning signs. We're afraid of what we're going to hear. This is especially true with waterproofing and foundation repairs. I know you've all seen those little cracks and little crevices along your foundation. It's like, man, what's going on here? It could be something big that needs to be fixed, or it can be a small problem now that'll become bigger later. They might just tell you to, all right, just hold off on this. Or simply, it could be nothing at all. In these moments, you want a peace of mind no matter what. And that's when you need United Structural Systems. With USS, you get problem solvers, experts to educate you and help you understand what's happening with your home. USS will provide an honest diagnosis and stand by their working warranties. That's the best thing about them, too, is look, they'll tell you if you need it, they're going to say, get this. But they'll explain everything and break it down to you. And USS are based right here in Middle Tennessee and is a member of our community. So when it comes to something as important as your home, USS is a company who cares and a company you trust. USS serving Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Find them online at ussTN.com or call us 615-227-2275. We guarantee our best. Call USS.
Meeting Wednesday edition of Ramon and Will, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone. Brian Rice talks Vols with us coming up in hour 2, plus your chance to head to Knoxville to see the Vols take on the Gators this weekend. We've got Tennessee tickets that are up for grabs at 7:15. So clear your morning schedules. Make that extra cup of coffee. Be ready for the dialing fingers to go quick at 7:15 to call us. Will Boling and Ramon Foster, Robert Walsh with you this morning. Ramon, there is one position group for the Las Vegas Raiders that is ranked near the bottom of the NFL by Pro Football Focus. And I think the Tennessee Titans have a big advantage at this position, similarly to the advantage they had in week number 1.
Yeah.
PFF ranks the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line number 31 in the NFL.
Yeah.
And number 32, the New York Giants.
New York Football Giants.
So you will have seen possibly the worst 2 offensive lines in football within the first 3 weeks of the season. Rookie Dylan Parham, third-round pick out of Memphis, moves into center against Arizona over the weekend. He struggled more there than he did at right guard in game 1 for the Raiders. 7 different players have already given up pressure on the Raiders' offensive line so far, and they have 6 penalties as a group.
Not great.
And Pro Football Focus writing, blocking Jeffrey Simmons will be one of the tougher assignments this interior has all season, which could give the Titans defense a big bounce-back opportunity this week.
It'll be necessary, man. But they'll definitely be in fight or flight mode this weekend, too. As far as the Raiders go, I'm looking at this Titans defense, and all is well, and everybody gets back healthy on that front line. They got to go abuse them. Like the good things that came out of that Bills game, you saw T-Air create just chaos in the backfield. You saw Jeff do the exact same thing. You saw Naquan do the same thing. The support around the edge has to be there. The support as far as the linebackers, I'll continue to say, has to be there too, man. Like, you got to cover your lanes and do your job when it comes down to it. And watching this group kind of, miss those running lanes, whether it's the safety that's got to fill in or whether it's the linebacker that has to do his job too. Your guys up front are bodying people. They're beating people up, Will.
No doubt about it. So interesting to see exactly what the Titans defensive line can do. You hope a healthy Bud Dupree is back in the mix at 100% this weekend as well. But when you look at other position groups for the Raiders that are intriguing, I think quarterback Nate Hobbs in the Raiders secondary is a really interesting unit because the Raiders at that position, Hobbs has been terrific. Of the 22 cornerbacks, Ramon, who have seen 13 or more targets this season, Nate Hobbs is one of 3 to allow 60 yards or less.
Wow.
The problem has been whoever has played corner opposite him. Amik Robertson has been there, young defensive back for the Raiders. The safeties have been okay. Deron Harmon, Jonathan Abram, you mentioned him at that position. But finding a corner opposite of Nate Hobbs has been the challenge for the Raiders defensively so far. So offensive line, secondary, 2 very intriguing spots on the field for this Raiders team. But I think anytime you evaluate this defense, Ramon, it starts with Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And what he's able to do. It feels to me, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, you would obviously know better than I would, seems to be a very different skill set compared to Von Miller.
Oh, no doubt.
Max Crosby is more of a 4-3 defensive end, strong, powerful, bigger frame off of the edge versus the speed, even at age 33, that Von Miller showcased on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's going to beat you up and try to push you into the quarterback. If he gets you leverage or gets your leverage and dips and try to get to the quarterback, that's him. He kind of reminds me, and not even a comparison when I say this, but he's a taller TJ Watt type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a Mario Williams type of guy, except not as thick as Mario Williams was. He's long body, get around the edge, long arm type that can grab your quarterback, and very opportunistic in how he gets to him too. I've been impressed with how he's played, man. Of course, everybody knows his journey and everything he's done to get back to a level of sobriety, and it's always a thing for him. 2019, 10 sacks, 7 sacks in 2020, 8 last year, and he's logged 1 this year, man. So the talent is there. They love him. He's an identity type of dude. Like you mentioned, that Raiders defense, Max Crosby. Same thing you think about with the Titans defense. You think of Jeff, right?
Right.
That's who you correlate the Raiders to is Max Crosby. They got to go hard. It's just nobody has done anything for them, though. He made All-Pro second team last year, too. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Did not realize that.
Good player. No doubt about it. 615-737-1045 is the number. We go to Mike in Clarksville next up this morning. Hello, Mike.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing today?
Good.
We're good.
We're holding.
Man, I am too. 2 weeks on Thursday, so we got to put, Monday behind us. Everything y'all pretty much said is true, but it's the Titans. We'll come out and do the total opposite, try to prove a point. It's a winnable game, but the only person that scares me is Devontae Adams. I mean, he's probably sitting over there like, hey, this is my coming out game. Yeah. So it's all about how we're going to respond and if we made the necessary adjustments to win this game. This should be our first W of the year, but again, it's us. What receivers are going to step up? It's going to be the big question. Is it going to be Burt? I think, me personally, it'll be Kyle Phillips. I like him a lot. Woods is there, but nobody fears him. And then, Burt, we're still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
So they're going to load the box on us. We know what's coming. So the question is, who's going to step up this Sunday and separate themselves from the rest of the pack?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
And who y'all think that would be?
Yeah.
Appreciate the call. I said it yesterday. I think it's Traylon Burks.
You think it's Traylon? It's got to be Traylon.
Traylon Burks is grading out as well as any first-round pick in the league.
Yeah, that's one thing
so far.
You lightly brought up on the break, did you? I don't think you said that over area.
Pro Football Focus. And again, I bring up the PFF grades and stuff, and I think I always have to give this disclaimer anytime we give PFF grades. Like, this is not a primary source of analysis. PFF grades are the cherry on top. It's a secondary source to tell you how good a player is. So don't just take, he's got the best grade of any first-round pick so far as an evaluation that he's the best first-round pick so far in the league. It's not what I'm saying. It just tells you he's had a good start to the season based on what he's been asked to do by the Tennessee Titans on offense.
For sure.
But that being said, Traylon Burks has graded out the highest of any first-round pick rookie in the NFL this year per Pro Football Focus.
The talent is there. We knew it. By the way, we probably just need to start the week off with this. BTS and BVS is very real this week, okay, on both fronts. Battered Titan syndrome and battered Vols syndrome, both.
Oh, that's right.
Are high this week. And you know what? I get them both, man. We're here. We're here to listen.
615-737-1045 is the phone number. Coming up in hour number 2, your chance to win tickets to see the Vols take on the Florida Gators this weekend. We will give you the cue to call for that coming up at 7:15. Brian Rice of Sports Radio WNML joins us at 7:20. But before that, Ramon Foster, our Week 2 edition of the top 7 and bottom 3 in the National Football League. We'll tell you about that. 1 hour down, 3 more to go on the Wednesday edition of Ramon Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 104.5 The Zone.
Summer's over, but that joint pain is still there, and it's time to do something about it. It's Ramon Foster, and I want you to call QC Kinetics today. You've put it off long enough, and it's time to get real lasting relief from chronic pain in your knees and back and shoulders and hips. QC Kinetics can get you moving again with cutting-edge regenerative treatments with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Regenerative medicine uses highly concentrated healing properties from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. And QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting breakthrough natural approach to eliminating joint pain. Lots of people here have done this, and they are living life to the fullest, pain-free. Don't assume the old ways of dealing with joint pain are the only ways. Call QC Kinetics today. Stop putting it off. Call now for a free consultation at 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. Again, for the people in the back, it's 615-249-4024.
It is 7:01. Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan is feared to be lost for the season, according to Buck Rising. Lewan suffered a non-contact injury on the Titans' first offensive drive. The injury comes to the same knee Lewan injured in 2020. The three-time Pro Bowler hasn't played a full season since 2017. And the Titans are signing safety Andrew Adams off the Steelers practice squad and onto their active 53 roster. Adams has amassed 35 starts with the Giants and the Bucks, totaling 7 interceptions, 23 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 on the Wednesday morning edition of Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here in Nashville. Top 7 and bottom 3 in the NFL. Your chance to win Tennessee and Florida tickets in 15 minutes. And Sports Radio WNML's Brian Rice talks Vols and Gators with us here on this beautiful day in Music City, USA. Robert Walsh makes the show happen, filling in for Jonathan Schaefer this morning. Ramon Foster to my left. I'm Will Boling, where you can join us, 615-737-1045. The headline from Robert Walsh this morning, courtesy of Jordan Schultz, NFL insider for The Score, saying the Tennessee Titans are signing safety Andrew Adams off of the Steelers practice squad onto their active 53. He has amassed 35 career starts with the Giants and the Bucks, totaling 7 interceptions, 23 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles.
Hey, now.
So there you go.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you much about them other than the Titans are basically taking each other, or the Titans and Steelers are taking each other players right now.
Yeah.
You take David
Between
and Nenny.
him and David and Nenny.
We come get Andrew Adams in. I couldn't tell you much. He didn't play with us. He didn't play with Pittsburgh during the regular season. He was there, during off season right now. He's been in New York and with Tampa Bay. So that's all I have on him. One-time Super Bowl champion, though.
There you go.
He's got a ring with Tampa.
Sure does.
Oh, God.
Sure does.
The old Super Bowl ring, baby.
So, difficult top 7, bottom 3 this week.
It is.
A lot of good teams. A lot of bad teams. First question I will ask you is, do the Titans show up in your bottom 3?
No, they didn't show up in my bottom 3. They could have. They didn't show up in my bottom 3. I was close, too.
Yeah. If this is just a power ranking.
Yeah.
Based off of right now. If it was a ranking on how everyone looked in week 2, the Titans are a bottom 3
and
team.
that's
what
I was going to ask you. I started to text you yesterday and say, hey, do we need to tweak like who was top 7 of the weekend or who was, top 7
like
over?
It's like a combination of both.
Where we were last week.
Yeah,
because
I feel like it's
0-2, and I got a 1-1 team in here, and I'm just like,
oh, I do too. I got a couple 1-on-1 teams.
Well, I do too, and that's what's so interesting about it. But you want to start off with the bottom 3 then?
Let's do it.
All right, my bottom 3 is starting at 30 with still Atlanta.
Okay. I thought Atlanta looked okay. I really did. I thought they gave the Rams a run for their money.
They did, but still, on the season, it's 0-2 still.
They just can't close out games, man. If you look at week 1 against the Saints, they blew the big lead, and then week 2, they couldn't complete the comeback against the Rams. They just don't have that big push at the end of games to really to close stuff out. And I don't know if that's coaching or if that's players or what it is, but they just had an issue the last 2 weeks closing out games.
I think it's players. They don't have enough right now.
Drake London's going to be really good.
Yeah. You can
Their
see
wide
that.
receiver out of USC.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a really good football player.
But it seems like they're going to give Arthur Smith time to build and grow there, though.
Sure.
So I don't think Arthur's really tripping off of losses right now, which is a good thing. You need that in your head coach.
Sure.
So 31, I got Panthers.
Okay.
And 32, I got Seattle.
Interesting.
Yeah, Seattle, I thought they were lucky to get that win against Russ. And
Right.
they just didn't look good. I mean, and all in all, that was a bad-looking game to me.
Yeah, it was ugly.
And maybe Atlanta should be 32 and Seattle should be 30. Seattle should be 30 and Atlanta should be 32. But I'll be honest, like you said, the Titans weren't far removed from being in that bottom 3.
It's the first time in doing this ranking that they're closer to the bottom 3 than they are the top 7.
Yeah, and last year they held top 7 for a long portion of the year too.
Right.
Well, they were top 7 at some point. Number 1.
I'm going to go the Chicago Bears at 30.
Okay.
I just don't think that team is very good outside of Justin Fields, who I actually think is pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the fact that their number 1 wide receiver is Darnell Mooney. No disrespect to Darnell Mooney, but that guy's not a number 1 wide receiver. And they have 5 tight ends, basically. Like Cole Kmet, their tight end out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't know what they're good at.
Yeah.
They don't have Khalil Mack anymore to just be the game wrecker. Roquan Smith is really good. That secondary is not what it used to be. That's for sure. It was filthy a couple of years ago. They're at the beginning of a massive rebuild under Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus that I think could actually be okay next year. But they're paying about $68 million to guys who are not playing football for them this year, including Andy Dalton. So this is a complete reset year for them. I actually don't have the Packers in my top 7, which is probably going to surprise some people, but I don't think the Packers are that great.
No.
And the Packers made them look like the Packers always make the Bears look. But I don't think that's your normal Packers caliber team.
No, I'm not impressed with Green Bay right now either. Yeah. I'm just not.
I might be by the end of the season, but I'm not right now.
It's Aaron Rodgers. He's basically going through OTAs right now with his receivers.
He really is.
Yes, he is.
31, I've got the Washington Commanders. And 32, I think the worst team in the NFL easily is the Carolina Panthers right now.
Yeah.
I really do.
They're really bad.
They are.
And Matt Rule is not an NFL head coach.
And there's not an excuse for him anymore, right?
No.
Like the same thing we just said for Arthur in Atlanta. Like he's had years to get his guys.
Yeah.
And it's shown that his guys stink.
Yeah.
They're not good. You're not good at picking guys. They've had a quarterback carousel every single year. Can you imagine getting hired for a job knowing that you would not be around next year?
That sucks.
And in my opinion, if I was a free agent, I would want to go there, knowing that they're going to have the turnover.
Yeah, because that turnover means they're going to turn over players too. That's what's bad about it. It's just like we always see this on the college level, man. It's just like getting a new AD. What does the new AD usually do?
Right.
Go get his own guy.
Sure.
Yeah, or her own guy. Either way.
And I did prepare one of these, but I did not know the preference of how these are labeled. So I did mine on a week-to-week basis, who I think are the worst teams in the last 2 weeks. I got the Colts as the worst team. I'm not trying to pander. They've just blown it. Yeah. They have not looked good or efficient at anything.
Yeah.
Right. At 31, I've got the Broncos. You go to Seattle, who arguably was one of the worst teams on paper coming into this, and you lose on a game that should have been Russell's get-right game, and then flash forward to last week, the Texans, who are another team on paper, they were right there with the Broncos all game. I don't know if it's the offense. I don't know if it's the defense. I'm out on the Broncos. They do not look great right now. And fair. At 29, at 30, I have the Bengals. You know what, man?
That's the way to endear yourself to Ramon Foster right there, by the way.
We're probably going to butt heads because I am a Ravens fan, but
I got no problem with hating the Bengals, though.
But look, they are the guys that grew up a little bit too fast. I think everybody knows those kids that are like, oh, you hit a home run in T-ball? All right, let's go to coach pitch then. They're like, man, I'm ready for the majors. I can hit a dinger. Like, no, you can't, man. They went out and bought all of these players. They got a new center, new right guard, new right tackle, and y'all still can't. But look, they're going to play the Ravens, and he's going to throw for 500 yards after looking like what happened for the Dolphins last week. But the Bengals, I'm out on it, man. You come in with a division rival. They look soft. And then last week, looked soft again. Joe Burrow's been sacked 13 times, 19 quarterback hits. The dude can't stand upright. He going to be smoking a cigar in the ER if they don't figure this out.
Power to the people, Rob. Power to the people, Bert.
All right, so quickly our top 7.
Top 7.
I think that's a solid one. Let's go one by one.
Okay.
At number 7.
I got 7 Ravens, just simply because that loss wasn't on Lamar. Lamar's still dynamic.
7 for me, the Los Angeles Chargers.
I've got the Jags, man. Doug Peterson has got this team looking good.
I thought
they look good. They got a run game. Yeah, Trevor's got some weapons.
No, Justin Herbert, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns. His 18th career game with 300-plus passing yards.
Yeah.
Second most in a player's first 3 seasons in NFL history, behind Andrew Luck.
Hey, now.
Number 6.
Rams.
I got the Lions. They scored more points than any other team in the first 2 weeks of the season. They're hot, dude.
I'm gonna be real.
With Jared Goff, they look good.
I've been history racist here with a bunch of these teams. They probably do deserve to be up there. Like the Jags probably deserve. The Lions probably deserve. But you did yours week by week, though. So it's a little bit different. It's hard to me to say the Lions are there.
Number 6 for me is Baltimore.
Okay.
Lamar becoming the first player since 1950 with at least 300 yards and 3 touchdowns through the air, combined with 100 yards and a touchdown on the ground, while also setting the NFL record for most games with 100-plus rush yards by a quarterback with 11.
That game made me want to slam my member in a sliding glass door.
Okay. Wow.
I did not want to watch that game.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Tampa.
I also have Tampa, number 5.
I got the 49ers, man. I think they're a way better team without Trey Lance. And the offense moved like it.
Wow.
He looked rough against the Bears, weather permitting. But week 2 with Jimmy G, that 49ers offense was humming without 2 of their best running backs.
Number 4.
These last 4, I think they're cream of the crop right now.
Yep.
I got Miami at 4.
I will have Miami in a minute. People are going to laugh at me, but not yet. Eagles 4 for me.
Eagles 4 for me as well.
Yeah.
Eagles look really good.
Really
I think
Jalen Hurts 17 to 20 in the first half.
I think, dude, and he started off like 11 of 11.
Yeah.
He started off hot.
He did.
He did.
Number 3.
Philly.
I've got Kansas City, number 3.
I got the Dolphins.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 2.
For you, go ahead.
KC.
I've got the Miami Dolphins as the number 2 team in the NFL
We're
right now.
good.
I am a
We're
believer
good.
in Mike McDaniel. Tua is unbelievably good right now. No, he can't sustain that, but he's really good right now. And, I mean, look, Mike McDaniel just has that, like, young quarterback guru vibe going on, and your ceiling when you've got that kind of guy leading your team for
He's
me
the whisperer.
is through the roof.
Yep. Facts.
Through the roof.
I give you that. Not bad.
I got
Rob
the Chiefs as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Chiefs.
And we all agree who's number 1.
Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Not the Patriots?
No.
Anybody else?
Absolutely not.
don't
Where's that
believe in
Patriot
Bill?
fan base at? Where's that fan base
And
at?
that is a way to not endear yourself to Ramon Foster.
Where are all the Patriots fans at now?
Oh, goodness.
You hate to see it.
Coming up next, your chance to win tickets to see the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Florida Gators. And in the process, you can see us live at Calhoun's on the River,
Yeah, you will.
noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, right here on 104.5 The Zone. Me, Ramon Foster, Ron Slay, and you drinking cold drinks, eating fantastic burnt ends.
I can't have a brew
At
though.
Calhoun's
I'll just
on the
be
river.
burping on the air. You don't want that.
Well, no, I really don't want that.
Well, we can
so
do
thank
that on
you.
the air anyway. So no, that's not a thing.
We can't what? Okay.
A wink.
Okay. So your chance to win tickets coming up at the end of the break. We will give you your opportunity to see the Vols and the Gators this upcoming weekend. Plus, we talk with Brian Rice of Sports Radio WNML. Coming up next, it's Ramon Will, powered by all 4 seasons on 104.5 The Zone. It's Ramon Will, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone. Your chance to head to Knoxville to see Tennessee and Florida. That is coming up here in just a moment. We chat as well with Brian Rice of Sports Radio WNML. Will Boling and Ramon Foster with you. Pretty big one this week, I would say, Ramon Foster.
Just lightly.
Yeah.
No, this is huge.
Pretty big one. So caller number 5 right now at 615-737-1045 is headed to see Tennessee and Florida this weekend. Give Robert Walsh a call at 615-737-1045. And you will be headed to Knoxville. It's a hot ticket, Ramon.
No. Yep. And there are all the phone lines. If you're trying to call now, it's too late.
That was 0 to 60 real quick. And how quickly that's right. Not exactly a 5-2 slow like you're 40.
No, that's way too quick right there. That's what
right.
you are. No,
That's
never
right.
mind.
We head to the phone lines of the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline this morning to check in with our buddy Brian Rice from Sports Radio WNML. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, gentlemen. It's those tickets probably are going fast. You even to make the drive from Nashville, people are pumped about this game, and they are going on the secondary market for, well, let's just say I could sell my pair and pay for my entire season worth of tickets.
Man,
so
wow. It's unbelievable.
I'm not going to do that, but we could.
Yeah, hypothetically.
There's somebody right now that's trying to act like Stewie Griffin and get a time portal is what they're doing to beat on the field. That's how expensive these tickets are right now and how hot this game is.
That's right.
For sure. It's going to be a great matchup that I think people are hoping to kind of exercise some of those Florida demons. We'll see. It makes me nervous how confident we all are on this.
Me too. And I'm looking up at Sports Center a minute ago saying that Tennessee has an 87% chance of winning this game against Florida. Brian, that is rat poison of the highest degree.
Yeah, it is.
Going into any, I don't care if Tennessee was the 85 Bears and Florida was the current Florida team, but they were still
Bengals.
But they were still wearing the same uniforms as Tennessee and Florida. Like, I would still be kind of anxious going into this game.
Yeah, I mean, fan anxiety has got to be pegged all the way to the red, because you have seen throughout this matchup. I go back to this winning streak that Florida had, with, of course, the one exception in 2016. In nearly every one of those years, Tennessee had an opportunity to win the football game going into the second half. They had a couple of things that went. Now, a lot of those scores ended up being lopsided, but it was one play here or there that went against them that started this flood. And that's what makes you nervous about this series and this game on Saturday is there have been so many times that Tennessee should have won or could have won or perhaps had the better roster and didn't. So that's why the anxiety is where it is, and that's why it is where it is for me. But I think if you can come out and strike early, Neyland's going to be rocking. I think it will be very easy to take Florida off its game based on some of the struggles that they've had over the last couple of weeks.
One thing that's interesting, other than like those Urban Meyer teams, okay, what's been the way Florida has beaten Tennessee in your assessment of covering them, being a fan of all those things? How have they beaten Tennessee as opposed to what this year presents?
No, I don't know how to answer that, Ramon. I think when you look at them year by year, it's something little every year. It makes you feel, I mean, it's why people buy into it's the Florida curse or your snake bit. This isn't going up against an Alabama program that's just better than you are. It's just year after year, even their bad coaches, even Jim McElwain, even Will Muschamp came in and lucked their way to victories. I mean, I look at 10-9 back in 2014. Shouldn't have lost that game. Florida was not good. Tennessee was even building where they were. They were the better team, and they had a 9-0 lead. And then you come in and 2 drives later, it's 10-9, and you've made a bad coach look like a genius. So that's what's frustrating about it is it isn't the Alabama series where you just point to, well, they're just better. You know, you're an underdog every year. You point to it and say, there were so many opportunities to win, and we just didn't do it. I think the difference now is you have a team that's confident, and you have a head coach that's not seemingly affected by any of that history. All of that is just over to the side. He's focused on what happened between the Florida game last year and the Florida game this year. And Josh Heupel talked this week, and some of the players have as well, about last year's Florida game being a turning point for this team. And if that's the case, then that's a little extra for this year, because if they had done what they did the rest of the year against Florida last year, they feel like they should have won that game. So you push that forward, and you have a team that feels like they should have won last year and takes that into the practice field to prepare for this week.
Brian Rice of Sports Radio WNML, our guest here this morning on Ramon and Will. Brian, when's the last time you saw a sold-out crowd for a bad group of 5 teams game in Neyland Stadium?
No, I mean, it felt like the old days when Moan was blocking for Eric Ainge back in the day.
That's right.
Your big issue in crowds for a lot of years, and certainly Tennessee's performance is a big part of it, but visiting fans don't travel. So when you look at an Akron team, that's really true. We're not talking about Georgia buying half its allotment. We're talking about Akron didn't fill its tiny little friends and family section. So selling out under those conditions is not something I honestly thought I would ever see again. Now, it was Spirit Day, so you had a bunch of young cheerleaders that came to a camp, and their parents bought tickets, but their parents bought tickets.
Yeah.
It was marching band day as well, so a lot of those parents bought tickets. But the bottom line is they bought tickets. The seats were filled. Tennessee has had those 2 events in the past, and it's still been 75,000, 80,000. So some people were trying to discount it. Well, they had these big events. Yeah, they did, but they've had those in the past. This isn't the first year that they've done them. And even those attendance-boosting events only got you to 80. The excitement level for this team and this program is off the charts, and I hope it's rewarded this week, because last week was a dress rehearsal. Last week was a better, more electric environment than we've had for a lot of SEC games in recent years. Maybe Ole Miss last year was better, but there were still a lot of empty seats for that one. But last week was an SEC top-level opponent atmosphere, and it was Akron. It's incredible.
Wait, let me. Okay, I got a lie. Now let's get into this game a little bit, okay? As far as like last week, let's talk about Akron. What happened with Callaway? Why was Akron acting the way they were? Like, is Tennessee's offense allowing teams to get this mad and ticked off? Like, there was a little bit of just nastiness to this matchup last weekend. As we quickly revisit Akron.
Well, I think when you're an undersized, overmatched team, then you do some things to try to get under your opponent's skin. You're chippy. You're going for knees. I mean, look, you play the offensive line, when somebody's way undersized, the only way they have a chance to get at you is to go low.
Right.
And so I think that was their game plan. And I won't fault Akron for coming up with a game plan that tried to equalize the playing field a little bit. It wasn't going to, but I don't fault them for that. But I think they did a little extra, and I think it got under the skin of Tennessee just a little bit, but I don't think it got under their skin as much as Akron was hoping. And so they kept trying to ratchet it up. They were still hitting guys late. I don't have a problem with you trying to equalize what you're doing on the field. I do have a problem with hitting guys late, hitting guys behind the play. That was unnecessary. Now, Jimmy Callaway's reaction was completely wrong. Okay. You cannot go after a guy and take swings. I understand why he did it. You need to have your head a little bit about you better. The first half suspension for this week, I think, is warranted, and let's leave it there. Let's have this be a learning experience for him. He apologized to his teammates. I thought the best thing I saw from that was the reaction of his teammates to drag him away. I mean, Jalen Hyatt, a starter, goes out there and drags him away and gets him to coaches, and the coaches start walking him to the locker room. That was great, because that showed his teammates were there to do the right thing. Why was Akron still chirping after the game, though? That's the question I have. The quarterback's trying to start stuff with Tennessee players as they're walking off the field. Like, man, you lost by 50 plus, man. just shake hands and go to the locker room, because there's no amount of yapping that you've earned at this point. Congrats for coming up here, but that's all you get.
Yeah. On the other side, okay, this 415-pound defensive lineman, I don't think he weighs that much anymore, but what is this Vols team going to be able to do against them? That's one thing that Florida does have is a defense. So where are you at on this matchup?
Well, I think you wonder how Florida's going to defend Tennessee. That's actually one of the topics for our show today. Reports are that Ventrell Miller is not expected to play the big linebacker for Florida. That would be a big loss. I'll believe he's not playing when I don't see him out there on the field, because you're talking about a big matchup like this. If he can in any way get ready to play, I'm sure he'll play. But when you look at this matchup, Florida has allowed an average of 195 yards rushing this year. That's Utah, that's Kentucky, and that's USF. If I'm Florida, I'm trying to figure out, okay, am I going to make Tennessee run the ball, which they can, or am I going to defend the pass? Because, I mean, if you focus on the run, Tennessee has shown that it has receivers that can win one-on-one matchups. Even if Cedric Tillman isn't available or he's not 100%, you have Jalen Hyatt that can win those one-on-one matchups. You have Brew McCoy. You have a variety of receivers and tight ends that are capable of winning one-on-one matchups if you focus on the run. Florida's already not good at stopping the run. So are they going to let sort of Tennessee have what they want in the running game? That's a bad plan too, because then Tennessee's going with pace. I think Florida has an issue with how they're going to choose to defend Tennessee and what the next step is from that.
Right.
If they focus on stopping the run, how are they going to stop the pass? If they give you the run, how do they prevent Tennessee from exploiting that, dictating the pace, and scoring as many points as they choose? I think the offense for Tennessee against the defense of Florida is fascinating to me because, as you mentioned, Florida has a bunch of dudes on defense that can play at a high level and are going to play on Sundays. But they aren't playing well as a cohesive unit,
right,
and they haven't done a very good job at defending the run. A little better against the pass, only 178 yards a game, but you're talking about playing teams like Utah and Kentucky that don't throw the ball around a lot anyway. So I'm really interested to see how these defensive numbers for Florida bear out against a very different offense that they'll face in Tennessee.
Okay.
Brian Rice with us this morning on Ramon and Will. Brian, Anthony Richardson has as many touchdown passes as this radio show this season. Can you please talk me out of him having the game of his life on Saturday and running for 150-some-odd yards like Matt Corral did against this defense last year?
You don't expect your starting quarterback to have 4 more tackles coming into an SEC game than he has touchdown passes.
Whoa.
I think, like we were talking about the matchup for Florida's defense against Tennessee's offense, I think vice versa. What the blueprint is out there. Kentucky and USF put it out there. Yep. If you can make him throw the ball, then you're going to have a good chance to win the game, because he is not a great thrower. He doesn't make great decisions with the ball. He's not particularly accurate, but he's dangerous with his legs. So Kentucky just kept him in the pocket. They put in a spy. They did some different things. And then South Florida last week duplicated what Kentucky did. So if USF can duplicate it, I feel good about Tennessee being able to duplicate it. Okay, so you put him in the pocket. But then, Will, I'm like you. I have oh, no. This is going to be the week he figures it out.
Yeah.
A little, they call it on ball Twitter, battered Vol syndrome.
That's right.
Yeah, he's going to figure it all out this year, and he's going to figure it out this week and throw for a ton of yards. We have never seen that out of Anthony Richardson. We haven't. He looks like a Heisman.
Be Rice, you said never, okay? Slow down. My BVS is kicking up. We hadn't seen it, okay? Don't put that never word in there. Come on, man.
We haven't seen it from him yet.
Okay.
So you're hoping that you don't see it for the first time on Saturday. I think the environment at Neyland Stadium on Saturday is not going to lend itself to Anthony Richardson suddenly figuring it out. But I think Tennessee has to have a solid game plan of focus on keeping him in the pocket, which, by the way, was something the Tennessee defense struggled with all last year. So easier said than done. But focus on keeping him on the pocket. Use those talented linebackers that you have that are really showing out this year. Use the defensive line to generate pressure and go take care of business. If he wants to try to throw the ball all over the yard, you have some defensive backs who have shown some ability. You have some young guys who have stepped up. If you tell me that Anthony Richardson has to throw the ball 30 times, I love that matchup. That's what I want to see. I'll take my chances with that. If he shows out and has one of those, we're just cursed performances, then so be it. But that's your blueprint to win. Keep him in the pocket, make him throw the football. And by the way, here's something else I shouldn't say from a perspective in this matchup. There's not anything behind him at quarterback. This is me knocking on the wood here
There it
in
is.
the studio. There's not a lot behind him at quarterback, so they're not going to just pull a 2004, flip the switch. Well, this isn't working. Let's try literally anything else. That's not going to happen, and it's not going to be successful. Backup's hurt. John Kitna's son is apparently not very good at third string, so let's just focus on Anthony Richardson. Let's just focus on our game plan. Let's just focus on getting things done.
Yeah, Brian, once you've seen Treon Harris beat you, it becomes it becomes tough to be too confident in stopping anybody playing quarterback for Florida.
Yeah, Florida pushes the let's try anything else button, and lo and behold, it works.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, as you say all that, I'm over here working on breathing exercises, okay? But real quick, the X Factor, and I know we'll see it, that's where the mustard bottles and freaking golf balls come out real quick, okay? The delay of games, the stoppage, the injuries.
Fainting goat defense.
Will we see it?
I think you're going to see it anytime a team anywhere in college football is trying to go fast this year.
Okay.
Okay. The one side of it though for Florida is they are not particularly deep on defense.
Okay.
So if you have a guy go out because he's been sniped, you are putting in somebody that is not as good as he is.
Okay.
That's where fake injuries kind of equalize against teams like Florida that don't have a ton of depth. If you have somebody go down to get you a stoppage, you have to kind of weigh, is that worth it based on who you're bringing in? So Florida's absolutely going to do it. To answer your question, they're absolutely going to do it. You're going to see it the rest of the year. But with Florida, they've got to be careful when and where they do it because you're taking a pretty big step down from starter to backup if it's somebody on the defensive line or if it's one of their linebackers.
Brian Rice has been our guest, Sports Radio WNML in Knoxville, at Brian C. Rice on Twitter. Appreciate the time as always, Brian, and we will do it again soon.
Gentlemen, always happy to help you guys wake up Nashville. We will see you this Saturday.
See you
yes,
Saturday,
we will.
Man.
Absolutely. On the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, there is Brian Rice. It's
me breathing, Will.
Yeah, we're going to go through some more breathing exercises with Ramon Foster. And when we come back, we will update you on something that will help Ramon Foster breathe a little bit easier about a Tennessee player who will be available on Saturday for Josh Heupel's Vols, who was hurt against Akron. Coming up next, it's Ramon Will, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Something awesome is happening at Genesis Diamonds this Friday through Sunday. It's a 3-day designer engagement ring event showcasing the world's top 2 brands in bridal jewelry, Tacori and Verragio. Tacori from California, Verragio from New York, both here with their entire lines, including all new rings for this special event. You can explore hundreds of exquisite American-made designer rings. Plus, Genesis will have special incentives, 0 interest financing, and up to $5,000 in instant savings. In addition, Genesis has expanded selection of GIA-certified diamonds for this 3-day event. All shapes, all sizes, and rock-bottom prices. This is the best of the best, okay? Every Tacori ring is handcrafted by master artisans with exceptional quality. Every Verragio ring is made by hand with unmatched attention to detail. These are the brands that other jewelers only wish they could offer. But at Genesis, they have the entire Tacori and Verragio collections, and they'll be on display this weekend. Don't miss the bridal jewelry event of the year, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Do you know what the date is, or did you not remember? The 21st day of September. Wednesday edition, Scout Meeting Wednesday on Ramon Will, powered by all four seasons. Oh, we remembered. Will Boling and Ramon Foster with you. The legendary Robert Walsh making the show happen. 615-737-1045 is where you join us. Robert, who won our tickets today to see Tennessee and Florida? I'm putting you on the spot.
Did. Jack is going to go see Florida get their butt whomped.
Whomped. Okay. Congratulations, Jack.
Congratulations, Jack.
That's right.
Last name redacted because people might try to rob him for those tickets.
Rejected.
Rejected.
Stop it.
It's okay. I'm the worst.
You, man.
I am the worst.
I mean, since you admitted it, yes, you are.
Okay. Jabari Small's status for Tennessee on Saturday.
What we got?
Looks positive.
Looks positive.
Running backs coach Jerry Mack had a positive update on that group after yesterday's practice in Knoxville.
Yeah.
Saying all four running backs full speed and full go. Nice. Going into this weekend's game. That is the one position we've talked all offseason.
Yep.
Tennessee cannot afford a single injury. Tennessee now has an emergency running back that is taking snaps. Did you see this yesterday?
No. Who? Joe Milton?
Nashville native, Princeton Fant.
Get out of
Tennessee's
here.
backup tight end is now Tennessee's emergency running back.
Run it up. Hey, if Cordero Patterson can do it, so can Fant, okay? Run it up. All hands on deck, okay? Well, it's that type of game. And having Small back, Jabari Small says a lot about that situation too, Will, simply because this is the type of game you want to be in.
Right.
Right? Like, imagine missing this game at home also. So, yeah, I expect him to be back.
So interesting to see what Tennessee is able to do at the running back position. Jalen Wright, the team's leading rusher through 3 games, 45 carries for 231 and 3 scores. Mm-hmm. Justin Williams-Thomas, the other freshman who comes in with Dylan Sampson at that position. He's only played against Ball State and Akron, trying to earn more reps. But we talked about this off air over the weekend. Tennessee's got a lot of freshmen who are starting to take ownership of their positions and starting to earn more opportunities. Mm-hmm. We talked about James Pierce a little bit. He gets his first sack for Tennessee against Akron in the second half. Riverdale High School's own Elijah Herring.
Talk about it.
Has a really good game in this one, playing late on in this one. One position group, Ramon, though, that I think is interesting to follow, those inside linebackers.
Yeah.
Now that you get Juwan Mitchell back over the weekend, the snap count of that position is really intriguing to me. Elijah Mitchell with 29 snaps, Jeremy Banks with 28 snaps, Aaron Beasley with 25 snaps, and then Solon Page, the backup linebacker, with 26, getting the rotational reps against Akron. Tennessee feels like it has 3 starting caliber inside linebackers now. With the Texas transfer Juwan Mitchell, who missed pretty much all last season, and then Beasley, who was forced into that role, along with Jeremy Banks, who's been pretty good at times.
They have been, man. That group I was working last year was a big focal point, right? Will's like, okay, what do we have here? And now you actually got bodies that are playing there, man. I'm proud of the young freshman from Riverdale, man, that's actually making plays and look different, too.
The Warriors.
Doesn't he not look different?
Yeah,
He didn't look this big in high school,
Tell
man.
you what, that is a positive development for Tennessee. Yeah, it's Akron, but it just, I don't even mean in the Akron game. I mean in general.
In general.
This is around the time I would imagine, Ramon, you want your freshmen taking that first step.
Yeah. But and that's how they introduce you, too, also to the guys that are playing like freshmen. Okay, here we go. Watch the older guys if they've done this before. And, you know, some dynamic ones that start off starting early in their careers. Eric Berry. It's just, you can't keep him off the field, right? But others you put in a position. Watch how they get ready. Watch how they warm up. Watch how they go on the field. Watch the flow of the game. Always have your helmet. Be ready because we might have a game like this and you got to go in. Yeah. Know what you're doing. And those young guys have all kind of answered their call. We speak about the middle linebackers, but Sampson, though. Like, you had to be pretty excited about what he showed this past week. So I like that, Will. That's good because this is what's the next phase of what Heupel is got to do and has to be right on them, too.
Yep.
His guys got to start being those dudes, you know? So good on them, man. I'm very happy to see that transition happen sooner than later.
Halftime of the show, when we come back, Robert Walsh resets the headlines for you. We get into the newest addition, reportedly, to the Tennessee Titans 53-man roster, Plus, more of your phone calls at 615-737-1045. And in hour number 3, we chat with former Tennessee safety Todd Kelly Jr. Get his thoughts on being a Tennessee guy playing against the Florida Gators. 2 hours down, 2 more to go. It's Ramon Will, powered by all 4 seasons of 104.5 The Zone.
When it comes to the cost of things, there aren't a lot of guarantees these days, especially when you have to wonder what interest rates will be in the future. You almost need a crystal ball, but my friends at Two Rivers Ford are making things easy because they are offering guarantees like great prices and a locked-in interest rate when you custom order a 2023 model year Ford. Right now, when you custom order a F-150, an Explorer, a Ranger, Edge, Bronco Sport, Escape, or even the Mustang, they'll guarantee 2.9% APR for 60 months for all qualified buyers. So you can order now and lock in a great rate for whenever you start paying. Now, that's the peace of mind you need. Plus, Two Rivers Ford will give you $500 bonus cash on top of the already low prices. So let's recap a little bit on everything I've kind of told you. At Two Rivers Ford, you can custom order any new non-specialty Ford from Ford below MSRP and get $500 cash and lock in your interest rate. What will they do next? Give you a free oil change? Actually, yes. Two Rivers Ford always gives a complimentary Works Package oil change whenever you purchase a vehicle. The best prices and guaranteed rates, all at a locally owned dealership with non-commissioned salespeople. It's like the good old days are still there at Two Rivers Ford. So custom order your next Ford from Two Rivers Ford.
It's 8 o'clock on the dot. What's going on? Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan is feared to be lost for the season. Lewan suffered a non-contact injury on the Titans' first offensive drive, and the injury comes to the same knee he injured in 2020. The three-time Pro Bowler hasn't played a full season since 2017. And the Titans are signing safety Andrew Adams of the Steelers practice squad and onto their active 53. Adams has amassed 35 starts with the Giants and the Bucs, totaling 7 interceptions, 23 pass defense, and 2 forced fumbles. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. It's 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, a Scout Meeting Wednesday edition of Ramon and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Robert Walsh, the second best producer in the world, making the show happen, the legend. And then we've got Ramon Foster, Will Boling with you. 615-737-1045 is how you join us on the phone lines. Going by quick today, Ramon Foster.
It is, man. We just finished halftime. You walked around the hallways here for a second. I finished up my second cup of coffee.
There you go.
Man, I took a light nap yesterday, man. It's going to be necessary this week.
I took a heavy nap yesterday.
You took a heavy nap?
And then watched Little House of Dragon on HBO.
Okay.
Which I finally began. It's been really good.
Do those naps mess up y'all's sleep schedule? Because I got off yesterday, and I'm trying to be true to this, but I'm new to this. So I was like, man, I got to take a nap. But then I woke up at 7 o'clock. And all of a sudden, it's dark outside. Like, I couldn't go back to sleep.
Well, you can't do that at 7.
Yeah.
Well, then again,
no, you slept till 7.
You filled in for 75% of the shows on this station yesterday.
I did. I got lucky.
Applause for Robert Walsh.
It was only 50%. Hunk came in and relieved me of Blaine and Mickey. But yeah, man, I came home and zonked out, and I woke up. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to take a melatonin to go back to sleep.
One ththing the body is gonna do is gonna let you know when to hit that off button, Rob. So hey, if you sleep like that, stay asleep, okay?
Noted.
Yeah.
You the question was, how do the naps affect our sleep schedule? The naps are our sleep schedule.
Yeah. Well,
to an extent.
I'm not great at naps.
Really?
I'm not. My wife gets on me all the time. Oh, you need to get more sleep. I'm like, babe, I got so much to do. Yeah. Like the anxiety of like.
See, I'm not that important.
Like, you ain't got kids either.
I don't have anybody else relying on me.
I just got a lot going on, man. Like people, phone is either buzzing. I'm looking at updates and stuff like that. I have a bad problem of like shutting off. That was one thing I did as far as like playing too. Like during the season, like all right, let's just go. That was just always me. I'm getting better at this, and Savage gets on to me too about this, Moan. You gotta take those naps. Nothing better than them naps. I'm like, how you just unplug and just hit the off button?
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
just be like 30 minutes and I'm out.
Well,
it takes me 30 to get out.
That's the thing though, is like it does for me too, but like that's like the best 30 minutes of the day. Huh. Like the 30 minutes where you're laying there trying to fall asleep to me is like the highlight of the day.
Really?
Yeah, because you're just chilling. There's nothing to do.
And
you're just kind of vibing.
And I know I don't have ADHD
Sound like the Nashville Predators
either.
Lord.
I don't have ADHD because I tried to like test for it.
Yeah.
I walked into the training room with the Steelers and John Norwig, our trainer, was like, Ramon, no, don't even try it. I know you don't have it. You're not getting Adderall. I was like, all right, okay, Wig.
Sure.
But the guys that get on that stuff though, to have like those and like that's a very strenuous process too.
It is.
Like they know if you're faking it, by the way.
That and the concussion protocol test stuff, like when you put down your baseline level for the concussion test the first day, which is funny that like all sport, not funny, I guess, but it was weird to me when I did it for the first time at UT that every athlete has to go through the concussion test. Yep. And for us, they're like, oh yeah, like you're not like hitting anybody, but like if you like pass out because it's 100 degrees and you're running and you hit your head, like we got to know what your like baseline concussion test is.
So Pittsburgh is the hub of that, actually.
Really?
The impact test.
Oh, yeah.
Dr.
Bennett
Maroon.
Omalu was the one in the movie.
Dr. Maroon was the one who actually was on the front line of that also. He was one of our concussion specialists. Very good, very good. Very awesome, man. He's like 75, still doing like Iron Man competitions
Oh, wow.
and stuff like that. Dr. Maroon's a bad but
Hardest sport there is.
He actually he recently helped out a young lady here who was a soccer player that caught a concussion in a game. No doctor anywhere could figure out how to get her to seeing her vision. And she's a badass too, like really good.
Yeah.
Just really set her back. And I ended up, I was like, hey, Dr. Maroon, like, hey, she's having some issues, man. He ended up putting her in contact with some specialists and got her right, man. Pretty cool. That's a small flex on his Ravens fan.
Yeah,
back
sure,
here.
whatever.
On this Ravens fan back
The
here.
AFC North rivalry is running deep in the studio.
But I saw a bunch of those guys. Like, it's other teams. Like, I saw Bills, Jaguars, Ravens fans, like, all in Pittsburgh, like, to see Dr. Maroon. It's pretty cool.
So I have a funny story for you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. I
was waiting on it.
Hey, I wish you could have got Haloti Nada some prescription so he didn't get suspended as last year with the Ravens, but that's neither here nor there.
You know what? I'm thankful for
So-
certain things, okay?
I in my life have had one concussion.
Have you really?
And concussions are no laughing matter, but this one
No.
is. This one is a laughing matter.
Uh-oh.
I was in the 3rd grade, and essentially what had happened was my friend had I think our neighbors were either moving or they got a new appliance or something, and they had this big box, like a big tall skinny box.
Mm-hmm.
So me as a 3rd grader puts the box over my head. It's the size of me. It's like the width of me.
Yeah.
And I start jumping up and down saying, I'm Larry the Cucumber.
Veggie tail.
And I slipped on a rock and I fell backwards and hit my head.
No.
But I'm in a box. And so I can't catch myself.
What?
And so I get back, and this was right. You were playing at Tennessee at this point. And we get back, and I was acting kind of weird. Like my parents, are in the house. This was back when kids used to play outside. My parents are there, and they were kind of like, something's kind of off.
Yeah.
And so that upcoming weekend was Tennessee and South Carolina.
Okay.
That weekend, you were probably playing at this point.
Yeah.
And it was right when, it would have been right when Steve Spurrier was hired.
Okay.
Literally that week.
Yeah.
Is what it was. And so it was middle of the season. Lou Holtz is gone, and Steve Spurrier has been hired by South Carolina.
Yeah.
And so the way that my parents knew I wasn't okay was they asked me, who's the head coach at South Carolina? And I said, oh, it's Lou Holtz. And they said, something's not right. Legitimately. Really? I kid you not.
Wow.
This was in 3rd grade at this point. Yeah. And they were like, oh, gosh. So now every single time any of us hits our head, they're like, hey, who's the head coach of South Carolina? Every single time. So
good,
if we have a
man.
minor injury in our family, or there's some kind of confusion, it's like, hey, do you know who the head coach of South Carolina is?
Oh,
yeah?
wow.
All right, then you're good.
Then you're good.
So,
by the way, is it true that Game Day picked Spurrier to be the special host? Or they didn't? Was that a troll?
That was a troll.
Okay, I thought so.
That hasn't been announced yet.
Okay, I was about to say.
I saw a tweet the other day. John Reed, who's often on Buck's show, radio host out of Knoxville, said the other day that every minute we spend thinking and arguing about who should be the guest picker host on College Game Day is more time we don't think about putting 50 up on Florida.
Really? If it's Arian, Ron just said it's Arian.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
Well, it was in a group chat that just now with us, my class of
really?
2004. It was like, Aaron, are you really the special guest?
Yeah.
If he's hiding this from us, I swear.
I don't think it is.
I'm gonna call his mama.
I think based on, who I want it to be is different than who it's going to be.
You want it to be Dolly, and that's the only question. That's the only
Dolly,
answer.
yeah, Dolly Parton is who we want it to be. Yeah, whatever, the official show stance. But I want it to be Tony Vitello.
Tony V?
I think that would be hilarious if it was Tony
100%.
Vitello. Because you know that he would put in way more prep into that.
It ain't real unless he shows up in the Lambo.
Well, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, a lot of people have seen it.
The orange Lamborghini for Tony Vitello is quite the sight to see.
Yeah.
615-737-1045. No, I think, honestly, thinking about the Manning cast and what Peyton Manning does with ESPN now, that feels like the logical choice is Peyton.
V? Oh, Peyton?
Because of the Manning cast. And Eli Manning has done a ton of stuff, and I'm sure they'll have some, it'll be brought up on the Manning cast Monday for sure, but we'll see.
Arian came on the show the first week I think I got on.
Oh, really?
Let's just say he was up all night, okay? It's quite hilarious.
Is that who you want?
Who, Arian?
As the picker?
Well, since this is his first time back since we left
Oh, he's going back up this weekend,
Yeah,
too?
he's up there.
Oh,
He'll
nice.
be in town tomorrow, actually.
Is he? He's cool with kind of the administration?
We had to talk him off the ledge.
Okay.
We legitimately did. Y'all know the way Arian's situation has been chronicled throughout history, how, of course, now players getting paid. He kind of softened his blow on it a little bit. And we just had to tell him for the guys that have been back, myself, Robert Ayers, a bunch of guys, Chris Brown, all of us have been back. It's like, Arian is not that. Whatever you think it was, like, we're telling him, like, dude, your pictures are still up in the facility. You're in the stadium. Like, it was just a bunch of disconnect. Is what it was for no other reason. If you know Arian, then you know that's just him. If I told you, it's like, well, yeah, that's Arian Foster. And you'd be like, okay, yeah. But we talked about it, and he is super excited about it this time around. So he's saying he's not buying a ticket. He's walking right on the field.
Oh, perfect.
I mean, that's the Arian type of thing, too. But he'll be back. It'll be a good group of us from 2004 that'll be there. Not just him. It's a bunch of guys, man. So, but this will be his first time being back. Alex Wilson will be there. I think Ja'Cory Williams. It's a good group of us. Rob is already in Knoxville.
I saw somebody joking that Kenny Chesney should be the game day picker because he's fans of both teams. Because at times he's done concerts wearing both jerseys. Prior to Gibbs High School.
Good old pandering.
For a while, I thought he was a Steelers fan. I didn't know any difference.
How would y'all feel about Johnny Knoxville?
I feel love that,
dude, because he's a Knoxville guy, but they don't have like a Jackass movie or anything for him to like promote. So I don't know if he would just come up and do it to do it, but I think it would be cool. You'd get a cool skit with him.
Yeah,
I feel 100%. Like it's I don't know. I feel like it's got to be. It's either a country singer or it's Peyton. Dolly Parton is the correct choice.
That's the correct choice.
I agree.
There is no one more universally loved in this state than her.
Almost
no
in
one.
the world.
I mean, honestly.
And at least in the United States.
If you've got issues with Dolly Parton, let me know. That way I can unfollow, block, and unsubscribe to whatever content you're pushing out there. Can we play some
Dolly coming back? What's her one song?
9 to 5?
Yes.
She was the graduation speaker at my sister's graduation at Tennessee. And her, when they processed out, Dolly sang 9 to 5. And it was like, well, now you're going to head to your 9 to 5, a 1, a 2. And she started singing it, and it was awesome.
You could do both spectrums, have Dolly, and then also have Butch Jones. Then you just...
Hey.
Easy.
Don't you ever mention them two together
Robert,
like that,
you were doing
Rob.
so well, buddy.
You were good.
You were doing so well.
That's that Raven in you coming out.
I can't help it, man. Every time Lucas talks about Butch Jones, I feel like he has PTSD. Like he's like, oh, back in the trenches, man. he ruined so many good players.
I mean, he did.
Yeah, we do have PTSD. You just heard us say it's called BVS.
BVS.
Battered Vols syndrome.
BVS.
It's a real thing. Really, we should just say battered Tennessee fan syndrome and just include the Titans in there too.
Yeah.
This is why I have trust issues.
Well, you got to be specific because if one do better on the weekend and it's the other that gets you.
Yeah.
Be specific.
A lot of people on the 104.5 The Zone TV chat saying Morgan Wallen could be the guy. Really?
That's a girl?
Really? Ramon.
I swear
I'm not even Morgan Wallen is.
No, I don't.
Oh, my goodness.
He got caught on an unfortunate video with his neighbor recording him saying some racially motivated things.
He's a country singer who is...
reasons why I don't know him.
That's fair. But he's a country singer who is very popular among people in their 20s.
And we can't be putting him out there like that.
No, there is no chance that ESPN puts that guy on their airwaves.
That when you got to say that guy and not him.
I don't think there's any way ESPN
It's one thing
does
to be him, but that guy? No.
I also don't think it could be a male country singer because they just did Luke Combs last week for App State.
That's true.
So,
did the team win? Yeah, they did.
Yes, on that Hail Mary, man. That was a good game.
The highlight of that, by the way, before we go to break, was Luke Combs saying as he picked the A&M Miami game, he said, Jimbo, I want to thank you for your donation to my school. I'm going with you this weekend. It's fantastic.
Hey, run that check.
Who was it last time in 2016? I can't remember.
I swear.
Who the game day picker was.
Was it Butch Jones himself trying to?
It may have been. Maybe it was Paul Feinbaum. Who knows?
Paul Feinbaum.
615-737-1045 is the number. When we come back, we talk to a player who played in Neyland Stadium the last time College Game Day was on campus. Tennessee safety Todd Kelly Jr. joins us, a Knoxville guy who played in this rivalry. We talked to him about what it means to be a part of this game as a guy that grew up a Tennessee legacy, playing against the Florida Gators, plus what he sees from this Tennessee defense and what he likes out of the way Willie Martinez has coached this group, his coach when he was there at the University of Tennessee as well as a defensive back. Todd Kelly Jr., VFL, coming up next. It's Ramon Will, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone.
Are you tired of working for someone who doesn't see your potential or providing you with the opportunity to grow in your industry? Hey, it's Ramon Foster, and I know the company that can offer you the opportunity you are looking for. They are Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is a small, locally owned company that is looking to get bigger, and you can be a part of that expansion. Become one of their service experts and receive medical, dental, and vision benefits, matching 401k, 2 weeks of vacation after your first year, holiday pay, company and factory training, plus top pay within industry standards. You can become Spring Hill Heating and Cooling's next all-star. Apply now at springhillac.com.
It's Ramon Will, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone. The voice of the most beloved East Tennessean of all time.
Tennessean.
Most beloved Tennessean. Most beloved person. Will Boling and Ramon Foster with you, Robert Walsh, our producer this morning.
Come on,
this is anyone else who's not the game day picker besides Dolly Parton is the wrong decision.
Come on, Dolly.
The kind of music that spans all generations.
We were just talking about her on TK, I know you on the line. You hear us right now.
On the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, VFL Todd Kelly Jr. with us this morning. TK, is there a reason why do Tennessee people love Dolly Parton so much? I mean, she's just the perfect East Tennessean.
Man, I tell you, 104.5 being in Nashville, I happen to be in Knoxville, not far from Dolly Parton and Dollywood. So the closer you get, the more spirit you get. And
that's right.
I tell you, it's something special.
It is.
We're talking about who the game day picker should be on Saturday, and we've gone ahead and made the statement that anybody that is not named Dolly Parton who's picking beside Lee Corso Saturday is the wrong decision.
Totally agree. And I think by the end of it, she'll have the fans going crazy. It's checker kneeling. It's going to be exciting. Who better to bring than her, right? I think we put it out there, so I think anybody else would be a disappointment.
It has to be a disappointment, TK. Like, legitimately. Like, we've been in here vibing to it. Jolene, we've been listening to 9 to 5. I'm just like, and then realizing also, I knew she sang it originally, TK, but hear me out. Her estate will forever be cemented in the history of all the world simply because she wrote I Will Always Love You. Like, I know Whitney did it probably best, but she wrote it, TK. Did you know that?
I did not. You're speaking the facts this morning. And another thing that's pretty cool about Dolly, I wasn't even ready for this, but my son he's 5 months, baby 10, and he's enrolled in her book program where she sends books to, young kids across the country.
See what I'm saying?
So she's an all-star for sure.
I love it. VFL Todd Kelly Jr. with us here this morning on Ramon and Will at 104.5 The Zone. Man, that 2016 Tennessee win over Florida, man. Going back to the last time Tennessee had college game day on campus and Tennessee was able to beat Florida. What do you remember the most about that game?
I would say my number one memory is my mom being one of the few to rush the field.
Okay.
We were down 21-3, and I always knew where my parents sat. And my dad was telling me, "Hey, y'all got to turn it up, keep your head in it." And my mom was proud of me, and she knew that we were going to prevail. Actually, we played Ohio before that game, and not many people knew, but I was dealing with a pretty serious knee injury throughout the season, and got my knee drained, my cortisone shot. I was ready to go for Florida, and I told my mom, I said, "You know what, this game is going to be the game," and kept that mindset. So I think not a lot of people are able to say that their mom rushed the field.
No,
it was pretty sweet.
That's some cool stuff right there. Your mom's a savage. Your dad is too, man. But that's interesting, TK. You say, of course, everybody goes through everything, do a lot to make it to game day. And you're mentioning, look, you had to get right to get on that field, man. We were talking about Jabari Small. There, his coach is saying that he's probably ready to go this week. Just speak on just the magnitude of what this game is and how you got to play this out this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, firsthand, right, playing in all the games that you did. And, when you just say the name Florida in the state of Tennessee, the number one thing you think about is UT Florida football, right? Mm-hmm. And so now that we have them in Neyland, it's sold out, 3:30 CBS, Checker Neyland, college game days here. I mean, what more can you ask for? I think about all these recruits that came here to play, like Jabari Small, who's a Tennessee guy. Everyone says that the next game is the best game, but I'll be darned. We're undefeated, and this game is pretty special to the team and to the fans. And I think being a former player and, now being a fan again, I've been excited for this game, excited that we're undefeated. But, I expect us to hit the ground running and to continue to play like we've been playing. And I think if we do that, we're going to get the victory.
VFL Todd Kelly Jr. with us here this morning on Ramon and Will. Todd, is a Tennessee kid. How do you kind of describe that emotion? The first time you take the field, it's 2014, your freshman year. What was that like? What's going through your mind as you run through the tee for the first time in that first game against Florida in Neyland Stadium in your career?
Well, nerves, that's for sure. I think being one of the 102, 455 as a kid, going to every home game growing up, pretty cool. You know, my dad was the legend of the game for one of the home games at Florida, and he brought me in the middle of the field. I was swinging my towel around, having no clue that I'd be able to have that same opportunity that he did. So, you know, just being able to take that all in, embrace it, and then say, hey, you know, I'm one of the 11 on the field that gets to make a difference not only for this team, but for the Vol community and for the VFLs around me. And so it was a great experience. I know as a freshman I kind of learned on an annual basis, you know, hey, the game slows down for you and you get more experience. But it's nothing like playing in Neyland. It gives me goosebumps, and I'm excited. I'm sitting in my office here at the Trust Company now, but I'm getting excited. I kind of want to break out of these dress clothes I have on, you know. It's pretty special. It really is.
So how difficult is that, though, Todd, to kind of control the emotions in a game like that, but also, you know, at the same time, you want to let the crowd feed you. You want to let Neyland Stadium motivate you. Where's the balance in kind of being able to do a little bit of both in a game like this?
Well, yeah, I think that's a great question. I was actually talking to Dobbs and Malone last night, and we were just reminiscing on the game. And, you know, we were down 21-3, so you think, you know, adversity, trials, you're going through all that. But it's what you prepare for. It's what you train for in the off season, and being able to, you know, when you do make a play, looking to your left and your right and expecting. You know, my job was to give the ball back to the playmakers on offense. So I was best when on the bench. When the defense is on the bench and your offensive playmakers are able to make plays, that's what it's about. But as that momentum picks up and the crowd's going crazy and, you know, everything's kind of going your way, to still live in the moment, still realize, hey, anything can go back their way, and just take it one play at a time.
TK, I'm sure you've run into guys from Florida who's played Tennessee and Knoxville also, and I've played with a few, been around them too. They all say it's loud. It's one of those places you want to play at. You know, I guess it's just like Lambeau Field is kind of the way you kind of view it. Anthony Richardson just kind of come out and saying it's another game, and their coach also kind of alluding to the same thing. Billy Napier saying, hey, it's just a different venue. What can you say about that crowd and how it can have an effect on other teams?
Yeah, well, I remember, you know, the game that comes to mind was when we played Oklahoma, and although we didn't get the victory, when the, you know, multiple overtimes, and Baker Mayfield came out and said, you know, I thought this was just going to be another stadium, but goodness, that's, you know, the loudest place I played in. Brady Quinn from Notre Dame, he's not even an SEC guy, right? But mentioned, you know, Neyland, like my center looked at me like, man, I don't even know the play. And so that's a good thing when you're the defensive player, and, you know, you can rely on the fans to be as loud as possible. And, you know, it's an advantage. And I think with the Florida team coming in and saying this is just another game, they'll wake up pretty soon and realize that's not the case, because the UT fans are going to come and bring it. The orange and white is showing up, and they're going to show out.
Man, I'll tell you what, Todd, I was a student at the same time you were at Tennessee too, and I grew up going to games, and we've had tickets since I was a little kid, and I was an athlete at Tennessee, but I'll tell you what, that Oklahoma game, you're 100% right. I was at the California game back in the day that a lot of people talk about as one of the loudest games they've heard in Neyland Stadium. I think the gold standard is always going to be that Oklahoma game.
Well, it is, and, you know, I remember even growing up, and like I mentioned before, being one of the many yelling, screaming, you know, to support the team. But it's a little bit different when you're on that field.
Right.
It is, man. TK, you brought up something too, man. I know your dad's VA, but you're a Tennessee kid all the way through, man. Just, you know, as we look at the talent that's kind of grown up in this area, I've always just kind of harped on that a little bit. Like, if you're a kid from Tennessee and Tennessee's recruiting you, it's good to give a good look at the state. And, of course, I'm very biased in saying those types of things. But what has it been like for you, you know, to be from here, play here, and still be here also?
Yeah, I think that's something very, very monumental to think about, because when you go to college, you know, it's more than a 4-year decision. It's a 40-year decision, and hopefully more if God blesses me to see more. But, you know, just being from here, going to school here, my sister cheered at Alabama. She was a great athlete. Both my parents went here. You know, even past my dad, you know, I have family on my mom's side, the Davis family, some of my lineage on that side played for UT as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been exciting, and knew that I wanted to follow my family's footsteps. But looking back and just seeing that legacy and understanding what the state of Tennessee means to Tennesseans, I support my sister for her decision, but I think the house divided Tennessee-Alabama was the right decision for me.
No doubt.
Absolutely right. VFL Todd Kelly Jr. with us here this morning on 104.5 The Zone. Obviously, nationally, people want to talk about Tennessee's offense when they talk about this Josh Heupel team. But against Pittsburgh, Ramon and I are talking about this Tennessee defense ultimately was the difference and why Tennessee won that game. How excited are you just about the steps that defense has made under Coach Heupel from year one to year two?
I mean, I think it's a huge change, and that's when you see the most change, right, is year one to year two, whether it's a new coach coming in or when a freshman is transitioning into being a sophomore. And so I'm just so excited for these guys, especially for the ones that have seen so many coaches come and go, whether, the head coach, position coach, coordinator, whatever the situation may be. But for that back end, especially having two premier veteran guys playing safety, the 1 and 2 duo, it's exciting to see them make plays, and they believe in themselves. And I think when you have that camaraderie as a unit, right, D-line trusting the linebackers trusting the secondary. And it also helps to practice against one of the fastest teams in the country. I sure am glad that I didn't have to practice against them during training camp, because I'd have to have a couple extra water bottles on the sideline.
Right.
But I tell you, it's impressive, and I think they're very complimentary. They play complimentary football. When the offense doesn't make a play, the defense steps up and realizes, hey, this is our opportunity and this is our moment.
So you were able to play for Tennessee's current secondary coach as well, and Willie Martinez, who was there with you guys from 2013 to 2016 under Coach Butch Jones, was able to kind of work with you a little bit. Now comes back, and then his second season with Josh Heupel as the secondaries coach. What's it like playing for that guy?
It's awesome. It was definitely a blessing to play for Willie, and just the guys that came out of UT that I played with that ended up going on to play professionally. Willie had a lot to do with that. I think he, coaches up each player individually rather than, just focusing on the top guys, and he makes sure everybody's a priority. And what he tells you when he recruits you is what really happens. He's going to work your tail off and expects the best out of you. And, it's really cool now that he's back. We actually communicated, and he had me come over and talk to the DBs a little bit. That's what you want. You want, open arms at the university that you went to. So I think as an alum, it's really cool to see how supportive not just Willie is, but the entire staff is with, former players.
When it comes down, you mentioned, that offense. As a defender, TK, how is it, or how hard is it to defend against that type of offense as far as spreading, the defense out? Like you're on side, like the wide receivers are on the sideline sometime lining up. How do you even go up against that in a game?
Yeah, well, it's an entirely new ball game from 10 years ago versus now, and just spreading people out, and they find the fish essentially. And Hype was great at figuring out what weaknesses do they have, figuring out, are they in man, are they in zone, putting those guys by the sideline. If I follow you out there, I'm guarding you. So just taking the simple things of the game and making them more complex so that we can capitalize. And I think with all the speed that we have on the outside, not to mention a mobile quarterback and an awesome 1-2 punch back there in the backfield, really a 1-2-3 punch with all three, Dylan Sampson, the freshman running back. I think it's impressive, and this offense is just so hard to stop. And it's been really cool to see just the tools and, utilizing his players that Heupel has that, he didn't really even recruit here, but utilizing what he has and doing the best out of it.
You mentioned something. I say this a lot when it comes down to, matchups and, how do you beat teams. You said you spread them out and you find the fish. I like to call him the candy bar, the guy that everybody wants a bite out of, man. If you could, just from a player's perspective, speak on how important that is as far as finding that weak spot, that catch, as you mentioned them being the fish.
Well, yeah. Number one, as a defensive player, your number one goal is to make sure you're not that candy bar, right?
That's right.
I'm not going to be that Reese's or that Snickers bar out there.
Yeah.
And then number two, as a defensive player, is figuring out, okay, if I guess thinking from a defensive mindset, right? If I am that fish, or somebody else is, what can I do to help them out or make that play, or what kind of, transition can we make to make a difference in this ball game? As an offensive player, I'm asking coach, hey, line me up, right? The Cedric Tillmans, the Jalen Hayeks. How can we put our best players in the best positions to make plays for us? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Heupel is phenomenal at. So it's, I think it's chess, not checkers, and it's moving ahead and thinking, okay, what can I do next before they think of, making a transition. So I think Heupel's great at that. I think we kind of, take for granted, although he did get that new contract, just how awesome of a coach he is. And everywhere he's been, he's won. He was the OC at Missouri when I was there, and they ran 100-plus plays on us before anybody used to do that. So I definitely had to take an ice bath after that game.
No doubt.
VFL, Todd Kelly Jr. has been our guest this morning on 104.5 The Zone, at Todd Kelly Jr. on Twitter. Todd, really appreciate the time, man.
Absolutely.
Always good to catch up with you in another VFL, and let's do it again soon.
All right. Thank you all for having me. Go Vols.
Go Vols.
All right. There is Todd Kelly Jr. with us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline this morning. Some good stuff there, Ramon, I want to react to on the other side. Talking specifically about stopping this offense, but Willie Martinez, the entire experience of playing for him, and some really cool perspective there. We'll do that next. It's Ramon Will, powered by All Four Seasons on 104.5 The Zone. If it's not Dolly Parton, we don't want it.
We don't want it.
This morning on Ramon Will.
Keep it.
Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors in Nashville. Special thanks to VFL Todd Kelly Jr. hanging out with us. Will Boling and Ramon Foster back with you. Rhett Bryan coming up in hour 4 as we transition back to talking a little bit of Titans. This is the kind of music that I said it before. It transcends all generations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think people realize how much music now is influenced by this.
Yeah.
Like, influenced by, like, this era.
I could be helped by being influenced by this era. Like, anytime a new song can tell, like, a tangible story that's followable,
that's
like, it is just, I'm always in on it. Mm-hmm. So if you can manipulate your music to make it tell something like that, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
It's what country music's great at.
It is. It is.
I was now they talk in circles. It's like, oh, my dog ran away and found my lost truck, and now he's back, so he's not my lost dog. And I'm just like, man, I'm out on that. I don't like that. I like hearing about it, but like once.
Hey,
all right, I'm going to do Jonathan Schaefer's job now. 8:48 a.m. is when I'm going to go back and grab that audio.
Oh my
goodness,
man. Way to go!
That is fantastic.
Oh wow, that was a huge truckload of beer that was in Hernando County, Florida. Wow, it was all over the floor, all over the state highway.
And this has been breaking news with Ramon Foster. This has been talking headlines with Ramon Foster.
It's a bunch of Coors Light. If it was on this.
Breaking sports news on 104.5 The Zone.
We've got an accident down in Hernandez where a beer truck is overturned. There are local Tennesseans out there picking up all the free beer. Back to you in the studio, Will.
All right, thank you so much, Robert Walsh, here this morning. It's 8:48, America's Music City. Okay, we've got beer on the road. Okay, give us a call if you see it. Send someone here to the studio.
There's beer in the oil tanker, man. There's a lot going on here.
I've got to play got to play the stereotypical morning shock jock anytime I get the chance. I don't know why I just turned into Harry Carey, by the way. I don't know if Harry Carey has ever hosted a morning talk show. Okay, there's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. You know, the Cubs tomorrow start a road trip in Cincinnati. As there's a pitch outside, 2-2.
All I'm telling you is there's a lot of crying grown men in this world right now because of it.
No free shout-outs, but that's my, like, cheap beer of choice.
Is it really?
Coors Light. The Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like a good beer with some body.
They're not paying me to say that. They could for the low price of, call our sales team.
Big brew guy. It is what it is.
You're really not. We talked about this earlier. You're not like a beer guy at all.
Why waste time?
What's there's no
you got
time
to overcome
wasted.
too,
This
though.
is beer drinking though. Like I told you, mentally I'm always on to the next thing.
What time is being wasted?
Because I gotta sit here and I'm drinking 4 before I actually feel anything. Then I gotta go to the bathroom.
Always have to feel something.
No, I gotta go to the bathroom right then and there. And then if I'm talking to you, I'm excuse me, Bert. And I'm like, all right, give me another beer. Before you know, I'm 12 in, and I've never actually had 12 in one sitting, just so you know. And I'm like, you got to shove it down just to actually enjoy it? Phrasing. Pause that. Pause all of
Just
that.
keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. Penalties offset, replay the down.
I'm not saying it's pointless because it's not, okay? And then I got to determine if it makes me sicker. Which one is it? Beer before liquor is what?
Never been sicker.
Never been sicker.
I have to think about the rhyme every time.
Why I gotta even go through that? Give me some bourbon. Give me some vodka, some tequila.
See, then you're mixing colors. You can't be mixing colors in your belly either. That's the easy way to see the rainbow.
See, it's easier that way. If I'm on brown, I'm staying there. If I'm on light, then I'm good to go. Like with beer, like it's way. Now we got seltzers, okay, and then it's way too much just bloating for. What, a half of a buzz? Like, come on. No.
I've more for me.
I'll bring you a case, okay? I might have beer in my fridge at home.
You know me, though. Like, I don't discriminate.
Like, I got beer in my house that's probably spoiled. Like, that's how much I don't drink beer.
Beer can't be spoiled, though, because it's already fermented.
Is it? Well,
is that true?
No, yeah.
So beer can't go
like
bad.
Within reason.
Unless
like, if it's like 3
hot.
years old, you can drink a hot beer if you really wanted to.
I like Blue Moon.
Like you can drink a Guinness like that's like lukewarm.
Can you see Guinness? Yeah. Then we start messing with it like that. Like what is that? Nitrogen oxide in that?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like
this is what I'm saying. Like it's a cold brew at that point, or it's
no, it's not cold though. Like Guinness, you're supposed to drink at like kind of cool, but not cold.
Maybe I'm smug about my beer preference, but I'm just like, all right, I got to sit here and hold it. Then it gets hot, okay, because I got to drink this at a very cold temperature.
That's right.
And then it's just like, well, now it tastes like warm, yeah, exactly.
Tastes like warm, exactly.
Spot the lie.
Well, no, I'm finding it. The lie is sitting over here in the studio. I usually have a hard time spotting the lie here in the studio, but I'm finding it right now.
Yeah, I'm just
not gonna lie to you.
The KB from Arkansas, I'm with you. There's nothing better than a cold beer on a hot day. I'm with you, but a beer would have brought worse. Okay, I'm there. I can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a Sounds game?
That would be psychopathic behavior if you weren't down for that.
Okay, sign me up. Okay, I'm there with that one all day. If we sitting around just duding it out, you know what I'm saying?
Just guys being dudes.
Like
what's better than this?
You feel me?
Guys being dudes.
Like, that's just where I'm at. Like,
let's go to Braden quickly on the phone lines before we go to our last break of the hour. Hello, Braden.
What's up, Braden?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I heard you talking about the spilled beer. What a shame. What a shame. Coors Light is a great beer.
Thank you.
I wanted to correct the acronym that you guys were talking about. It's beer before liquor makes you sicker. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll let you guys hang up.
So you finish your night with beer.
Yeah, thank you, Braden.
Liquor before beer, you're
in
the
the clear. You can mix the two. You just have to go in the right order.
Well, see, there's also a problem there, too. If
What's
I'm
that?
drinking liquor and then I end up finishing with beer, then the bubbles hit, and the next thing you know, I'm throwing up somewhere.
Well, but you're in the clear.
But
it's all about the pace with which you drink it.
I appreciate you.
Like if you
in,
no. This is why I'm telling
Okay.
you. Like I am a scientist.
Yeah.
And self-appointed. And the reason why you start with liquor and then you switch to beer is you sip whiskey.
Yeah.
And then you keep drinking at the same pace. Like you're sipping on beer then.
You sip
sipping
whiskey?
on some sip, as our friend said a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's new to me.
But then if you start with beer and you try to drink beer quickly while it's still cold, then you switch to liquor, you drink the liquor at the same pace, then you got some problems.
If I gotta force my drink down, then I'm probably not gonna drink it. Like give
You
me
don't have to force it.
2 cubes
It's
of something
good.
straight, and I'm good to go. Like you
Okay.
don't like drinking and burping and stuff. Like, well, get
I
to
thought
the
you
point.
said you didn't mind doing that
What,
earlier on in the
burping?
show.
No, I do mind the burping. I
Okay,
say you don't
just
want
not in the
me burping.
microphone.
Yeah, not in the microphone and
Okay.
just belching.
You're a radio professional.
Give
yourself some credit.
A lot of people want me fired, probably, man. Who knows, man?
Who's to say?
I don't know, but
Who's to say?
give me a double. That's all. We're good.
Coming up next, fourth quarter. Four's up, ladies and
Four's
gentlemen.
up.
This show plays its best ball in the fourth quarter, and when we come back, Rhett Bryan, the executive producer of Titans Radio, joins us. Little scout meeting Wednesday about the Las Vegas Raiders. Plus, we'll talk a little bit of Monday Night Football and get one final reaction to the Titans' performance in Buffalo. One final hour. Don't miss it on 104.5.
It's 9 o'clock on the dot. Good morning from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Robert Walsh. Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan was originally feared to be lost for the season, but now is seeking a second opinion. He suffered a non-contact injury on the Titans' first offensive drive, and the injury comes to the same knee Lewan injured in 2020. The three-time Pro Bowler hasn't played a full season since 2017. And the Titans are signing Andrew Adams, safety, off the Steelers' practice squad and onto their active 53-man roster. Adams has amassed 35 starts while with the Giants and the Bucs, totaling 7 interceptions, 23 passes defended, and 2 forced fumbles. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Your home for the Vols and the Titans on 104.5 The Zone.
Fourth and final hour of the show, a Scout Meeting Wednesday edition of Ramon Will, powered by all four seasons on 104.5 The Zone, as we preview Titans and Raiders. Good stuff, talking Vols in the middle 2 hours of today's show. If you missed it, check out the podcast wherever you download audio. Ramon and Will, Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and Stitcher. Robert Walsh making the show happen this morning. 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster to my left. My name is Will Boling. Rhett Bryan coming up in just a couple of minutes as we preview Titans and Raiders with the executive producer of Titans Radio. But courtesy of Robert Walsh, the headline this morning, courtesy of Buck Rising again this morning, who reported yesterday that Titans left tackle Taylor Lewan was feared to be lost for the season. Now an updated story saying that Lewan will continue to seek further evaluation after initial fears of a season-ending injury. So perhaps not a season ender after all, saying there are no definitive answers as of this morning, Wednesday, after initial fears he might be done for the season.
Which all right. Okay, that's all I got.
We'll take it in stride.
I'll take it in stride, baby. That's all I got.
Lewan carted off the field with a knee injury, right knee, same one that he had the torn ACL on in October of 2020. Buck reporting, of course, as well in the postgame locker room, he required crutches and a sleeve to be able to move around on his own. Mike Vrabel saying yesterday, as of now, I don't have any updates. Still going through some evaluations with an update coming as that becomes official.
Wow.
So
Vrabel doesn't. They don't have an answer right now. MRI didn't say so.
No official answer.
Getting a second opinion.
It sounds like the initial fears are just different from what is actually happening.
So he might be back.
Potentially.
Okay. All right. That'll work, man.
Could be back. No idea how long he's going to be out, if he's back Sunday. If he is the report last night might still be correct from Buck that he is out. But it sounds like nothing totally determined at this point, one way or the other.
Yeah.
615-737-1045 is the number here on the Scout Meeting Wednesday edition of the show. We ran through that as well this morning at 6:20. And defensively, it's Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, it's Davante Adams. I would imagine, Ramon, that the conversations in the Titans locker room are similar to what they were in week 1 against New York. You got a couple of superstars on the field with the potential to beat you in this game on Sunday in Nissan Stadium. You have got to make somebody not named Max Crosby and Davante Adams be the reason why you have trouble on Sunday.
Cannot have breakout games. Not even a little bit. Or Chandler Jones either. Cannot be the game that they say, hey, we are the guys you thought we were. No. Send them back to the West Coast. Vegas, the West Coast? What do we call it? West Coast?
Yeah.
It's farther west than L.A. is what I found out.
Yeah,
it's the West Coast. Send them back to the West Coast and tell them y'all be cool. Try to get out of this hole you've dug for yourself. Because this is the thing about this week, too. And I know Rhett will have some say-so on this. And being a person that played on a team that went 0-4, well, going 0-3 is just in the back of your mind. It's like, don't go 0-4. When you're 0-2, let's find a way to get this first win. And the best way to do that is to minimize those guys' superstars. We said it in the 6 o'clock hour, in our Scout Meeting Wednesday. One thing that the Cardinals did, they doubled Davante. They did. This is what you have to do. You can't allow Max Crosby on defense to be one of those guys to say, this is the game that I wreck shop against you, man. And of course, you'll have a week of preparation if it's Daly at left tackle. to have him be prepared as far as film goes for Max Crosby or Chandler Jones, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this response is going to be. And not just that, too, up the middle. Like, we can't overlook Aaron Brewer's situation, because one thing about the Raiders, they go after big, fast guys. Emphasis on the big side of that, too, because they have some of those stout defensive linemen, man, that just want to move you upfield and try to just create chaos. Andrew Billings is one of those guys. Bilal Nichols is one of those guys. Kendall Vickers is one of those guys. Jonathan Hankins. Listen to me. We talked a lot about Jordan Phillips, and I almost feel bad for not even mentioning Hankins, man, but he's a guy that's exactly like Jordan Phillips is. He's a Jeff type of dude, Jeffrey Simmons type of dude. Just want to wreck shop with you, man. I got a lot of respect for that guy. Not a huge stat dude as far as the paper says. He's just one of those guys that disrupt your offensive plays.
Certainly, and good breakdown by you in telling the people what the Raiders do specifically on defense, because I think a lot of people just think of them as Darren Waller, Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow, like the pass catchers that they have, the three of them,
right?
As good of a 1, 2, and 3 as you've got in the AFC.
Yeah.
Between Renfrow, Adams, and Waller, who all give you a little bit of a different look. I'm of the opinion that I think Devontae Adams is the best receiver playing right now.
I know Aaron Rodgers would love to have him back, wouldn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. No, he's that good. Aside from Tyreek, right? Him and Tyreek right now?
I think it's Devontae.
Devontae.
I think it's Devontae number one.
Justin Jefferson.
He might be my second best receiver.
Is that the top three? Who else are we missing?
Stephon Diggs. Certainly Stephon Diggs.
Sheesh. That's a solid 4.
Jamar Chase, probably.
Jamar Chase.
He just hasn't really had it this year.
When healthy,
can't protect his quarterback. Yeah.
When healthy, Michael Thomas.
And he broke out with 2 touchdowns.
And he's playing pretty well right now.
You know who's creeping up that list too? Waddle.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle. He's got the best celebration right now in football, by the way. Robert Walsh is having PTSD as a Ravens fan talking about this.
I forgot about that, but I didn't forget about that.
The fact that Jalen Waddle waddles after he scores touchdowns is fantastic to me. But
yeah, it was good seeing him do that against the Ravens.
Phil is in Portland this morning, checking in with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Phil. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Hey, go Vols, baby!
Go yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, that's the way. Hey, listen, you ever want to start a good conversation off with Mr. Ramon, just holler that out and everything will go good.
You throw me in that conversation as well, Phil. You are a friend of mine saying hello to me, saying go Vols. So I want to thank you for that.
All right. Hey, about the Titan game this week, I'm sitting here looking at a glass halfway full or halfway empty. I'm choosing to think positive. You got two teams that's coming here without a win. Somebody's walking out of here with a win that's going to force a win. So I'm just hoping that's going to force on our behalf. So just want to see what y'all had to say about that this morning. And y'all have a blessed day.
You too,
Thank
man.
You,
appreciate my people in Sumner County, man.
Absolutely.
Calling in like that.
It feels like the personality of a team can go one of two very different directions at 0-2.
Yeah.
You can have the team that knows, hey, we don't have the QB, we don't have the leadership, we don't have the dudes.
Yeah.
To sustain this and turn this thing around. But Mike Vrabel's record as an underdog and Mike Vrabel's track record of being great when his back is against the wall tells me the Titans go the other direction. Yeah. Now, granted, I hadn't seen a Mike Vrabel team have as poor of a performance as they did on Monday very often.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all bets are kind of off at this point.
Yeah.
As banged up as this defense is specifically. But the underdog mentality and the backs against the wall. I mean, you mentioned being on a team 0-3 and figuring out a way to right the ship.
Yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10, how much panic is in that locker room right now?
Yeah. 0-2 ain't as bad because I'd say about a 6.5, 7 though.
Okay.
Still, because what is the off season? What is training? What is preseason? Everything's like, we're going to win.
Yeah.
And then lose the first. And okay, somebody had to lose. That's kind of how you look at it, Will. You lose 2, and then you lose that one on prime time. Like, he's like, all right, y'all, get it together, like now. You know, like voices start to get a little bit louder then. And I say about a 6 and a 7, Will, which ain't a bad place to be. Everybody wants to win. And it's not necessarily the panic in any of it. It's simply just we know we're a good team. We know we got the components to bring it together. How do we win is where it's at a little bit. And to not go in 0-3 is survival, man, because being in that situation where we were 0-4, even when you get that one win, you're like, man, we went 5 games in and we just got 1-4.
Yeah, it's hard to celebrate it within the same way.
But it's good to get that monkey off your back, too, you know?
Sure.
So about a 6.5, just because you know you're supposed to be a good team. And you're doing some good stuff. Or it's like, I guarantee the question the coaches probably had to themselves, why didn't we have a better plan for Stephon?
And you cannot afford to let Devontae Adams get 160 yards against you this weekend.
You feel me? Like it's that.
It's just you're not going to win the football game if Devontae Adams replicates what Stephon Diggs did on Monday. It's just not going to happen.
The players are saying, just being real with you, can I be real?
Sure.
The players will probably say, well, what the hell was we thinking not doubling him up? You see what I'm saying? Like, it'll be some of that stuff, and you don't want that to get too much louder going into next week. So that's why I give it a 6.5, 7. It's very crucial to get this win because you start really looking back at a lot of different things, Will. And I think it naturally, any team will do that, okay? It's not just a Titans thing. We did that.
Sure. 615-737-1045 is the number. We chat with Rhett Bryan coming up in just a couple of minutes. Get his thoughts on the Monday night performance and the one Titan that needs to have the breakout game this Sunday. Ramon and I have given our thoughts. We're kind of on the same page that it's Treylon Burks. That's the guy that needs to have that breakout performance and carry this offense a little bit. We'll ask Rhett Bryan about that as well. The one Titan who needs to step up in the biggest way in order for the Titans to get in the win column and avoid an 0-3 start. Plus, your chance on winning Wednesday to score more tickets courtesy of 104.5 The Zone. Coming up after the break, your chance to see the Nashville Sounds take on the Memphis Redbirds next Wednesday at First Horizon Park. I'll give you details for that coming up in just a few minutes as well. Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio, our weekly visit with him, coming up next on Ramon and Will.
As leaders in disaster cleanup and restoration, the pros at ServPro are prepared for anything, like the relief valve on your water heater failing, pouring gallons of water into your finished basement. Think about it, it'd be even worse if you were out of town when this happened. Or an electrical shortage in your office that causes extensive smoke, fire, and water damage. Or a musty odor indicating you might have a mold problem and is not Robert. Right? Think about that. You need a lot more than help sometimes clean up, and that's when you contact ServPro. They have the equipment and expertise to clean up damage from fire, water, or mold, but they also offer variety construction services ranging from drywall patching and document drying all the way to complete structure rebuilds. ServPro is a call to make to bring your home or business back as good as new and as soon as possible. So call the official ServPro downtown Nashville operators at 800-SERVPRO to see how they can help you get back to like it never even happened. ServPro, cleaning, restoration, construction, and franchises are independently owned and operated.
It's Ramon Will, powered by all four seasons of 104.5 The Zone. Scout meeting Wednesday of the show. Will Boling and Ramon Foster with you. The legend, Robert Walsh, making the show happen. If you don't know why he's called the legend now, check out hour 1 of the podcast wherever you download audio after the show. Something about faking keg stands that I'll just let you fill in the lines on.
Woo!
We're calling him the second best producer in the world, Robert Walsh.
He hadn't used the drop, man. I've been waiting on it, dog.
The second.
The best producer in the world.
The second, he says.
Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio joins us. Good morning, Rhett.
Good morning, everybody. A little traffic, or I would have been here at the top of the hour.
Traffic
right
weather
now.
on the 8th.
Traffic and weather together on the 7th.
Was it a bunch of that beer on the road? It wasn't that, was it?
It wasn't that here, although that was funny when I heard y'all do that.
Robert got me with the breaking news sounder. I'm still impressed with that.
It was good. And then, he did a fake report. It's like, back
right.
to you in the studio, Will.
And I just became Harry Carey for some reason.
Hi.
I do have a little bit of unfortunate breaking news this morning. We don't have a sad trombone breaking news sounder in there, but if we did, this would be the time to play it. Has nothing to do with the Titans, but it does have to do with Tennessee and College Game Day and music. And a certain musician we were discussing this morning, and Dolly Parton. Apparently, Reese Davis went on a podcast. Reese Davis went on a podcast and said, talking about Dolly Parton possibly being the game day picker for Tennessee, said, well, we had a game day picker that might have topped Luke Combs, but I'll let you read between the lines. She is unavailable to join us, which is unfortunate. So
the
it sounds like
national treasure won't be delighting us with her lovely wit and humor.
They at least apparently made the ask for Dolly Parton to be the game day picker.
That was a smart ask. And look, if she can't, she can't. I mean, it's just one of those things.
If she tell you no, you just wait your turn, right? It's like, yes, ma'am. Walk away.
I mean, I think they sang to her, Jolene, please don't take my game day picker.
Well, she's busy working a 9
she's like,
to...
Look, I am... Yeah,
she's busy working a 9 to 5 on Saturday, so she's not going to...
She stumbled out of the bed and stumbled into... Okay.
What a way for her to... Well, she's going to pour a cup of ambition. She's going to do something else on Saturday.
She had to do her laundry and wash her coat of many colors. Film it a lemon.
What's crazy? She's probably saving the world from somebody right now. Like,
she's such a great... listen,
humanitarian, man.
I have so much respect and admiration for Dolly Parton. I'm serious when I say I am one of those. I believe she is a national treasure.
Yeah.
The program that she started many years ago so that young children get free books to learn how to read. Our daughter Gracie got that, and she got a book, I don't know, it was like every month or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. And just the things that you hear stories about her philanthropy and the things that she's done. You find somebody that doesn't like Dolly Parton, and I'm going to say, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You find someone I
don't know anybody that doesn't like her, at least on some base level. And then the person she is in the music world, and the beautiful things she's written and sang, and huge fan of Dolly Parton, always have been.
100%, man. It's just like, how can a person be that good? You know what? Dolly. That's all you say. That's all you say. She's one of those celebrities, Rhett. She's one of those celebrities that if I met, I'd fanboy out.
Oh, there's no question I would.
Okay.
I very rarely have fanboyed out with anybody, and I've met some famous people. You have too. You know what the deal is, and that would be one I'd be like, all right, Rhett, you got to back it down just a notch here, buddy. Calm down.
Just touch a shoulder and just asking all the questions, just like, moan, be cool, security.
So I just noticed in the chat, Tighten Up Dracaris there talked about what I said last night to start Mac Talk. And I'm going to repeat that right now because I want everyone listening this morning to Ramon and Will to understand what I think is worth repeating. Whenever you hear Coach Mack or Mike Keith or Amy Wells or myself or anybody on Titans Radio, when we're talking about the team, and maybe we're not putting it as bluntly as what you're feeling or thinking.
Right.
You're a team employee and you do, you've got rose-colored glasses. You got to understand something. I've covered this football team for a quarter of a century. I have a lot of time invested in this. I got a little blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
And I want them to win just as bad as all of y'all listening do. And after a game like Monday night, I'm bummed about it. I'm pissed about it.
Yeah.
But I've seen this story so many times before, And I know that another chapter is coming. Another day is, turning the page and going to something else. But don't ever mistake what I'm saying, that I'm not contrite and sincere, or that I don't care as much as you do. I promise you I do. I've done almost 500 of these ball games, and it's not just because it has been a way for me to make a living. I love this franchise. I always have. And what Amy Adams Strunk and the family and Kenneth and Barkley and all of that, and then the hires of John Robinson and Mike Vrabel. Listen, this has been an incredible ride this last 5-6 years. So, listen, that was a bad deal Monday night, but they got to pick up the pieces and move.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
And you've seen a team with a pretty equally bad start go on to play for an AFC championship game against the franchise that you're playing this upcoming weekend in the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, you saw the 1-4 start, that then you're playing the Raiders for a chance to play for the whole thing.
Yep.
So,
I saw that.
It can turn quickly. Things happen quickly in this league, and I think the point that you and Coach Mack made that was smart on Titans post game and on Titans radio and on Mac Talk is nobody's going to feel sorry for you in this league.
No.
And I think when you start the evaluation process of Vegas and of the Raiders, you've got an equally desperate team that's looking for answers on Sunday in Nissan Stadium.
Well, you're 100% right. To add to your scout meeting Wednesday, here's some things that is interesting on their part of it. So Devontae Adams, your best receiver. I heard your list.
Yep.
Week 1, 10 receptions, 141 yards, and a touchdown in week 1. Last week against Arizona, 7 targets, 2 catches, 12 yards, 1 score.
Their home site wrote about that.
Yeah.
It's like they shut them down.
And then they added Chandler Jones in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They gave Max Crosby the bag.
Yeah, they did.
Through 2 weeks, 1 quarterback sack.
5 hurries.
That's it. And then the Raiders secondary has surrendered 549 yards and 4 touchdowns through 2 weeks of play.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a wounded animal as well, air quotes here. And, that it's just like the caller a minute ago. Go Vols, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to go out of this thing 0-3, and you just don't want it to be the Titans in this case. So desperation is getting to be a thing, because you go 0-3 in this.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the point of no return.
And by the way, for a defense that has the names as far as outside rushers, DNs, Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, of course, and I brought up Jonathan Hankins as a guy that you have to watch for up the middle, and a few other guys. Rhett, in all of what you said with their defense, 1 interception, 1 sack.
Yeah. And I mean, 549 yards and 4 scores. That's getting torched, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's like Jalen Ramsey's week 1. I mean, seriously.
No, you ain't lying.
I mean, lit like a Christmas tree, man.
We've spoken what their offense can be. They can be dangerous, okay? And I said this, too. We've spoken about it in the first hour was, look, you'd be a fool not to do what the Cardinals did to Devontae. You find a way to double them up, especially because you got some deficiencies that you got to cover up for. We're having some young guys if health isn't there this weekend. But you cover him up. You don't let Hunter Renfrow, who I said can be your uncle or break your ankles off, have a day. You feel me? But defensively, I didn't have a whole lot. They struck out on Cleveland Farrell. Jonathan Abrams, they struck out on him, didn't pick up his option.
And yet he's still the starting safety back there.
Exactly. So that side of the ball for them, I didn't have a lot because, honestly, it hadn't been a lot either.
Yeah. And you guys were talking about the targets that Derek Carr. That's how long I've been doing it.
I was going to say.
Yes, Renfrow, Waller, Adams, but don't forget Foster Moreau.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
a tight end I really liked a lot coming out of LSU into the draft a few years ago. He is a sneaky good target and a good blocker. They've got weapons. They just haven't put it together.
Well,
and now I'm going to tell you something else. One of my other draft crushes, because Traylon Burks is one that was my favorite, but I'm telling you another one, is the guy from Memphis, Dylan Parham.
Yeah.
Dylan Parham has played both center and guard for them in these first 2 games. He's given up 1 pressure in 65 snaps. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
And then I got to talking to him at the combine. Nice guy.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they've got some young stuff there up front to kind of keep the Wolves away from the door.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, and if you go back and listen to Mike Vrabel's press conference yesterday, he talks about just simplifying things and going back to bare bone basics. And I think he is speaking about the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball.
Sure.
So, because defensively, I'm a little more concerned about that than I am personnel groupings and protections and things on the offensive line.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you can't be 31st against the run.
No, not in this division.
You can't do that.
Because every team that you see that you play 2 times runs the ball too, right?
Yeah, it's still a big part of the game.
And then it's another part of how you close out games too. If I can control the clock, I can control how you score. So let me walk this ball down the field. You got to erase that quickly.
But I think this is a get back to work, get back to the basics kind of week on a short week. And, time has proven before Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff find a way to get it done in some spots where they're like, nah, they dropped this game this week. And they're like, nope, they sure didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
So, that's really what I'm looking forward to, is just kind of seeing how they dig themselves out of this.
Can I ask you this, though, Will? I ain't mean to cut you off. I did cut you off right
You're good.
There.
Your name's first on the show. It's fine.
But it's a us thing. You know how I roll. You know how it's a us thing at
I'm
all
kidding. You're good.
times. When it comes down to what you want to see this week coming out, the opening scripted plays for the offense, the maturation of that throughout the games. I think that's what a lot of people are just asking. Fans is just like, okay, when are we going to get the second phase of that, to continue the game?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's one of the questions we had last night on Coach Mac's show is, it's like, well, are we back to Terry Rubisky territory where the first 15 was okay and then everything didn't work out after that? And I'm like, no, I think it's just kind of how things have played out. Because you're right. You're like, you got a 75-yard drive.
Beautiful.
The other night in Buffalo, and it's like, okay, well, what happened after that? Well, first of all, you played a damn good Buffalo Bills team.
Yeah.
These dudes are ridiculous. I'm not taking anything away from them. And I'm not using that as an excuse, but, I mean, those guys look like they can beat just about anybody right now. Now, we've seen things change as a season ebbs and flows, and there's plenty of those things. But, they just got to get back to work. Listen, I like the fact that it is a noon Sunday kickoff at home. I'm a creature of habit. We all are.
Yeah.
And those are my favorite Titans games. As much as I'd like to see them get their flowers on national TV or whatever, they didn't get any flowers Monday night. But there's something that is a regular routine about that. That's why Coach Vrabel, he plans his practices around those same times of the day and building up routines for these guys. And they come out of that tunnel and, start something early and give the fans something to cheer about, and all of a sudden the crowd's roaring behind them, and you just go make a play. Go win the 101s and go make a play.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Rhett Bryan with us at Titans Radio here on Ramon and Will. Talking about Traylon Burks, your draft crush. Leading the team in targets in Buffalo with 6, 47 yards. Got 4 catches so far this season. Catches 2 of the 3 contested targets his way against Buffalo. I think I asked you the same thing last week. Was this an opportunity for a step up in Buffalo? We saw another step on Monday night for him. I think it's one of the most positive performances the Titans have in Monday against the Bills. Does he have to take that next step and kind of become wide receiver 1 on Sunday for you?
I mean, I think you're going to start to see that anyway.
Sure.
Pro Football Focus had him one of the top 4 young target. He had a great rating from that game the other night, despite the score.
He's got the highest rank of any first round pick through 2 weeks in the NFL from PFF.
All I do is I go back to, and I know we're talking 2 different things,
right?
But for the receiver that a lot of people still want here in A.J. Brown, and he's not coming through that door. So we got to do what we got to do with Traylon Burks, and I think that guy's working hard to do and be his own guy.
Yeah.
But I go back to A.J. Brown's rookie year. 4th game of the year really was when he started to emerge because he had been hurt with a hamstring throughout camp.
Yeah.
And it was on the road in Atlanta, and that was his first 2-touchdown game. And all of a sudden, okay, I see what we're looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I think it's inch by inch, it's a cinch is what they say, And
Sure.
I think that's what he's doing is if you just stack some good practice days and then start stacking performances and, going out and making things happen. To me, this run game has got to get going some way, somehow. 173 yards as a team through 2 games is not going to cut it.
Yeah.
And it's not – people want to say, was Derrick Henry done? No, Derrick Henry's not done.
I agree.
And the other part of that is it takes 11 dudes.
Yeah.
It takes everybody on that side of the ball when that is happening to make that work. And I think that's part of what Mike Vrabel was talking about yesterday in his press conference is, we got to get back to the things that, butter the bread, so to speak. We've got to be able to do that. Because how many times have you seen a stat line in the first part of a game for Derrick Henry that ends up being 138 yards and 2 scores or whatever? That's the lowest stat line he's had in nearly 4 years.
Yeah. Sure.
You remember that Baltimore Ravens game in 2018? They sacked Marcus Mariota 11 times. It was a 21-0 shutout.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 7 carries for 21 yards, I think, that day. That was just a bad day at the office, period. But that's the lowest stat line he's had since then. He wasn't even the full-time starter then.
Right.
So
remember that game well. You think about that. You think of Denver on the road with Ryan Tannehill comes in and takes over, another shutout loss.
And that was his next lowest stat line since all of his 2,000-yard season and all that. That was another one. You're right.
I think of those two, and then at Jacksonville in 2018. Nate Davis's first start on an offensive line that struggled against Calais Campbell that day.
That's everybody.
Well, that's true.
I was going to say, have you ever seen Calais Campbell in person?
I have not in person.
First time I saw him was in Radio Row at Super Bowl. I guess that year it was in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That is a mammoth human being.
Like an athletic lurch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ramon, what was it like seeing him on the other side of the
Imagine a bigger Ron Slay that plays football.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's what he is.
And just like long.
And he's legit 6'8".
I mean, legit.
I bet Slay had a better route tree, though.
I don't know. I love my brother. You know that. You know what he came out as in high school? He was that size, and I think he was like 240.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a 300-pounder. He went to Miami. Nobody really knew who or what he was. And it's now look at him.
He was the classic tweener.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You knew there was something there, but you're right, though. I cut him, though. Will. Hey, sorry, Calais. First play of the game, right?
You were doing what the Akron Zips were trying to do to Tennessee on defense.
Hell out of them.
Yeah,
I had to stop the charge.
But they've just got to find a way. They've got to get somebody to make a play and then put another play with that and keep going. They have to do that. This is where they are.
Absolutely right. Rhett Bryan.
Your back's against the wall. Ramon, you've been through a couple of starts that started rough.
It's rough. Like at this point, he asked me what was my, what's the level of panic here? About 6.5 and 7. Because you come out of this
You're not
thing.
pointing fingers yet, but you got
your voice get a little loud.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, y'all. It's that.
Right.
It ain't. Hey,
you're not mentioning all 3 of your legal names.
No.
But you're close.
I'm just William. I'm not William Lee yet. I'm just William.
You just come on, Will. Yeah, it's right. That, and it's a matter of Rhett B just starting the season off right. Like it's hitting a skid in the middle of the season. Like, well, we went 3-1 in the early part. You lose 2 or 3 in a row during the season. Well, at least we got a good jump on the season.
They just got to find a way Sunday to win the ball game.
That's right.
Get it done. That's what they've got to do.
Quick turnaround for award-winning Titans Countdown back on the air this Sunday morning from
at our
Nissan
regular
Stadium.
11 a.m. slot.
That's right.
Hey now.
Sure is. Rhett, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Quick, man. Like Will.
Going into the break, it is Winning Wednesday with the Nashville Sounds right here on 104.5 The Zone. We've got your chance to head to see the Nashville Sounds take on the Memphis Redbirds. Look, we're Nashville people here in the studio. We're fans of Nashville beating Memphis and playing Memphis.
That's tonight?
Next Wednesday night, September the 28th at First Horizon Park. Be caller number 5 right now for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Sounds take on the Memphis Redbirds next Wednesday at First Horizon Park. 615-737-1045. Caller number 5 right now to see the Sounds and the Redbirds next Wednesday at First Horizon Park. It's a Tennessee bye week. You need something to do. 615-737-1045. Coming up next, we finish off the show. I hope you didn't blink today because I apologize because you just missed our radio show. We'll wrap things up. Coming up next on 1045 The Zone. One final segment of Ramon and Will. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors here on 104.5 The Zone. Will Boling and Ramon Foster with you. Robert Walsh making the show happen.
That's
for
how you
us.
bring Ink in right there, man.
Sure is. We got midweek motivation with Inky Johnson coming up in just a moment. Yeah, it's a good drop right here.
That is a good drop. Got a little Atlanta in that one.
That's right.
You feel me?
Robert Walsh filling in for Jonathan Schaefer. Will be back with us next week.
Little Tennessee, little Houston.
Here on the show. Buck Rising up next. Of course, we mentioned the report from him, the re-report from him this morning about Taylor Lewan, originally feared to miss the season with a knee injury, now getting other opinions.
Yeah.
There is nothing decided yet on that front. So Wednesday, injury reports, updates from the Tennessee Titans camp, from the Raiders. We'll get a clearer sense of where the Titans are going into Sunday.
Yeah, we will, man. Be interesting, man. Be good to get some bodies back. Say what you want to about the game, but you're no good if you don't have the bodies out there to actually play a good quality game. So,
that's right.
I'm looking forward to that, man. And it's a new week. I think the wash away is tomorrow with Ron Slay and 3HL, if I'm not mistaken. They moved it from Tuesday to Thursday.
Out of Buffalo Wild Wings.
Got a B-dub close to you somewhere, man.
That's right. Get you some honey barbecue wings, some
what? You go straight
fries.
to honey barbecue?
I just like honey barbecue. Like, I like spicy stuff.
Will. It's cool.
No,
You're
I like
child.
spicy stuff. I just think the flavor of honey barbecue is good. Honey barbecue and garlic parmesan is what I get there.
No, it ain't bad. I'm not going to ridicule you like that.
I'm a hot chicken person, though.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
The show after us is not.
I'm not a
this
real
is a hot chicken
food guy. Like, I'm not at all. But you went first to honey barbecue, Will. I at least got to say something.
It's good.
It ain't bad.
Hot honey barbecue is my favorite. Like a place that gives you a spicy honey barbecue sauce. Yeah, that's good stuff.
B-Dub got rid of that. My wife is still mad about that.
Really?
Yeah, she's still super hot about that.
It's my favorite.
They try to fabricate it in the back. She's like, nah, send it back. She's not like that.
If the salad is on top, I send it back.
Hey, Michael.
Mafia episode of The Office.
Yeah.
Bring me the gabagool.
The gabagool.
If it's on the side, I send it back. Oh, it's my favorite.
But Titans fans, we're reset.
That's right. It's Wednesday.
It's 48 hours now, Rhett B.
It's a quick turnaround. You got to get ready to go.
Yeah, we're good to go now.
How going from you played a lot of primetime games.
Yeah.
How hard is that turnaround?
You don't even think about it.
Really?
Screw it. Get in there, get that cold tub on Tuesday. Practice probably be a brisk walkthrough on Wednesday. Thursday, you really, ramp it up a little bit. Friday's another walkthrough, finishing touches type of practice. Get more rehab. Saturday, it's go time again, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Go time again. Get this dub.
Sure is. Much more coming up tomorrow on the matchup in Knoxville this upcoming weekend. Pretty big game in Knoxville.
Lightly.
Me and you are live along with our guy, Ron Slay, live from Calhoun's on the River this upcoming weekend, Saturday. Make plans to join us. It is the biggest pregame show in town. We won't have a guest picker, but we will be the biggest pregame show in town.
100%.
Respectfully.
That's what I was going to say. Well, it's like different tiers.
I'm being sarcastic, of course.
We're like, compared to game day, we're probably, a 3A school, they're 5A?
Yeah, I'd probably say so.
Yeah, okay, there it is. Now they're probably 6A.
Respectfully.
Which is okay.
You played in 3A, so you can say that.
I played 3A. Yeah, that's 6A with 3A.
Ripley.
But it's the biggest one in 3A. 3A had the best competition, in my opinion.
There you go.
It's just my honest, humble opinion.
Yeah, since we asked. It's fine.
Since you asked. Even if you didn't, now you know.
Fun show today. Appreciate Brian Rice. Appreciate Todd Kelly Jr. Appreciate Rhett Bryan giving us a couple of minutes. But we finish Ramon Foster with our guy, Inky Johnson, on the phone lines with us here live today, giving us a little bit of midweek motivation for your Wednesday. I know he's pretty probably excited about Tennessee and Florida at Neyland Stadium this weekend. What's going on, Inky?
What's up, Ink?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
We are good.
Just staying low key until this weekend.
Hey, I love that music, man. I love that. That was my type of music, man. So I appreciate that.
We got a substitute in here, Ink, and he know a thing or two behind the glass.
Doing a good job.
It's good to know that.
That's right. I'm gonna jump right into it, though, man. I had a interesting but a fulfilling dialogue with Lane Kiffin, man, this past week when I went to speak to the team before they played Georgia Tech, right? And so Lane has found himself at Ole Miss, and he's been having, a lot of success. Like, Lane has been doing really well. And a lot of people don't know I was on his first staff at Tennessee, right? And watching him and watching his growth and watching the individual that he's became, Like, it's been fulfilling, it's been dope, and it's been interesting to say the least. And so when I sat down with him, he was just telling me, like, Ink, it's different now, right? And I was like, what's different? He said, it's no longer about me. He said, the fulfillment I get from watching the guys, the joy I get from watching the guys, like, it's incredible. He said, usually after a game, I would come out, I would want to know what people had to say, but most importantly, I would want to know what they had to say about me. He said, but now when I watch my guys compete, I'm more excited than just about the win. And if a guy came and he played third or fourth string, the fulfillment that I received from watching the work that he put in and the opportunity that he gets. And so I sent him a quote that I want to read to you guys today, man, and I'm going to land the plane. It says, people are illogical, unreasonable, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you are successful, you will win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness makes you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. The bigger men and women and ideas can be shot down by the smallest men and women with the smallest minds. Think big anyway. People favor underdogs but follow only the top dogs. Fight for a few underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build it anyway. People really need help but may attack you if you do help them. Help them anyway. Give the world the best you have and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best you have anyway. Go out and be great anyway. Whatever anyway is. If it's opposition, if it's adversity, if it's people, if it's circumstances, go out and be great anyway. But make sure it's not about you. Take care. Peace.